This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
On ABC Radio and on ABC Sport Digital.
As we welcome our listeners from the rest of the nation to Perth Stadium. It's the Fremantle Dockers in third, hosting Brisbane in second. The Lions, knowing that a good win today can see them leap above the Demons and claim top spot on the AFL ladder at the end of round 12. There are no late changes. Mitch Croden is the sub for Fremantle, the medi-sub for the Lions, Callum Archie. Clint Wilden alongside Ben Cameron in commentary, our experts. Premiership player with Collingwood, Sharrod Wellingham, dual premiership player with the Brisbane Lions in Beau McDonald. We've been discussing how this game might pan out and the thoughts about Nat Fyfe's return. The general consensus is he'll be back next week as the Dockers take on Hawthorn. But I'm really keen to get your thoughts on Lachie Neale and what do the Fremantle Dockers try to do to stop him today. We saw in the second half, James Aish against the Demons went to Oliver, and that had an enormous impact on Fremantle winning that game. Let's not forget, of course, the absence of Stephen May, but that was one of the keys. And Neale, if you think about his Brownlow year a couple of years ago, was averaging 26.8 disposals and 4.2 inside 50s a game. This year, he's averaging 32 disposals on average from his 11 games and nearly 5 inside 50s per game. He's actually stepped up another notch. We asked Josh Carr, who understandably played a very straight bat for our listeners here in Perth, is Lachie Neale the most influential player in this Brisbane side? If they can stop him today, Fremantle, how far does that go towards getting a win?
Well, I think that his last 3 games against Freo has he not polled votes in the Brownlow, so he loves coming back and playing here. That's for sure.
He has indeed, and also if you go through round 10 of 2019, they did lose coming across the Perth Stadium, the Brisbane Lions, but he had 26 disposals, and then in round 2 of 2020, when Brisbane got up by 12 points, 29 disposals and a couple of goals.
I just feel like he loves coming back here and showing Fremantle what they're missing. So I think that they do need to put a fair bit of time into him, but like Josh said, maybe not straight away. Let the team settle, go out there and see what he's doing, because you can't just go, ghost down on him. You need to work out what they're doing at the stoppages, where they're exiting, where they're trying to move the ball, and that will probably determine what kind of player you do put on him.
Yep. I think what Lachie Neale's enjoying at the moment is the other blokes around him are getting better and better, your McCluggages, your Berry, your Lyons, so you can't just, maybe you want to concentrate on Lachie Neale, but these other blokes are starting to get off the chain. Then you'll throw a Rayner in there. They're starting to get a deep midfield. And so I think to your point, Sharrod, exactly, I wouldn't be going, it'd be a team thing, I reckon, and if he starts getting off the hook, well, maybe you go one-on-one to him, but is he the most influential Lions player? Yes, to an extent, but for me, it's Charlie Cameron. When Charlie Cameron is playing the small forward role and he's not leading at the ball and trying to be the tall key forward, and then all the others get behind, that pressure comes, that's the Lions, they seem to sense blood and they get their game up and going. So every game I watch the Lions, I always look at Charlie Cameron early, and if he's up and about, we generally have a good game.
Such a shame Michael Walters isn't playing, because we would have just, the battle of battles when it came to small forwards. If he'd been out there as well today with who else we've got to see. And Cameron, of course, one of the absolute superstars. Frederick has been terrific in recent weeks as well. Toss of the coins happened. Ben Cameron's kept an eye on it. Ben, which way has it gone?
Yeah, Dane Zorko has won the toss. Alex Pearce in there for the Fremantle Dockers. Brisbane electing to kick to the Farmer Freeway end of the ground in the first term.
Let's head downstairs, find out what it's like here at Perth Stadium. Akash Fodadars near the boundary. Akash.
Thanks, Clint. Yeah, the atmosphere is certainly building, and you've got plenty of people expecting a great game, just like we are. Weather-wise, it's about 17 degrees, but I can't confirm it feels a lot colder than that, and there is a slight breeze just swirling around the stadium. Starting on the bench for Fremantle are Ethan Hughes, Will Brodie, Darcy Tucker and Lloyd Meek. Mitch Cronin is the medical sub. And for Brisbane, Devon Robertson, Jackson Pryor, Darcy Fort and Noah Answorth on the bench, with Callum Archie, the medical sub.
Which way are you tipping? Sharrod?
Fremantle for mine.
Bo?
I think Freo by a goal.
Oh, that hurt, I could tell.
Yes.
Ben?
Historically, when great offence comes up against great defence, defence wins. So I'm going for Fremantle just. What about you?
I'm with the Dockers as well. I do wonder about the loss of Taberner up forward.
Not good.
I know, it's never good for Fremantle. We've all jumped on the one team. We know it always happens on Grandstand AFL when that occurs. It is the Fremantle Dockers up against the Brisbane Lions. It's third versus second. It could be enormous. Let's find out what's about to unfold. Ben Cameron to get us started.
So the best attacking team against the best defensive team. Let's get it on. Darcy goes over the top of McInerney, then gathers the ball at ground level. Handball away. Brayshaw onto it. Now at half-back for the Dockers. Sweeps a handball back to Pearce. He'll chip it out towards Brayshaw. Aish out there too. And Aish in the long sleeves is able to mark it. So Aish for the Dockers at left half-back. Headband on. Holding back the long locks. He shanks it. Turns it straight over. Neal gathers for the Lions. Kicks back to Hipwood. He marks 70 out from the attacking goal for the Lions. Just assesses what's before him. Once players gather inside the attacking 50. Now tries to pick out a target. Looking to get it to Rayner. Hands to it. Doesn't complete the mark. At the fall of the ball, Luke Ryan for the Dockers. Getting involved there, Zach Bailey for the Lions. Slaps it away to Rich, who retrieves it in the centre square.
I'll get a chance to go forward here through Starcevic. He pumps it long towards full forward, up and marking Brennan Cox. Just in front of his defensive goal square. Got away with that. Fremantle, that turnover. Sarong had been charging forward. Neal stayed, and that's why he was able to take the mark. Cox beyond defensive 50. Adams almost takes a good mark. Spills down to Bailey. Hand passes the Lions back to Gardner. Now to Rich, just shy of left half forward. Wobbly looking kick inside the attacking 50. Up is Young, and that's a good mark. And he got one across the face as well. Zorko was the player attempting to spoil. Ryan remonstrates with him. There's no free kick. Young will have it in the right back pocket. No score in the opening 90 seconds between Freo and the Lions on Grandstand AFL.
So Young kicks long towards the wing, going up low. Can't take the mark. McInerney slaps it away. McCluggage onto the footy for the Lions. Handball to Neal. Gets a couple of boos. Handball inboard. Now the short kick coming from McCluggage. A turnover. Brayshaw too slow. Run down. Zorko's caught him holding the ball. Right on the attacking arc of 50 for the Lions. Zorko wants to centre it. A good kick. And he spots up Lions, who marks 40 metres out directly in front.
Brayshaw just caught a little bit unawares there. The ball wasn't going to him deliberately from the Brisbane player, so just caught a little bit unawares.
So Jared Lyons, what a pickup he's been. 2 Brownlow votes in the last meeting between these two teams. He shanks it left. It floats low and just threw off hands for a minor score. So behind to start for the Lions in more ways than one. 2.5 minutes into the opening term.
A couple of forward entries for Brisbane there, just lacking the contest. They just need either Hipwood or McStay to get to the ball and bring it to ground. Freo have been able to intercept market.
Luke Ryan took a little trundle and then kicks towards the commentary wing. McInerney got hands to it, won it down. Bailey slipped over. So too did Akers. Scooped up here by the Lions. Gardner intercepted. It came to Brayshaw. Is that out of bounds on the full? It is. Free kick for the Lions. Daniel Rich to take it at the interchange gates. Had a little bit of sympathy for Brayshaw a short time ago. He was hit on the chest with that delivery and suddenly realised after a second, it's not a mark. I have to get rid of it. And did take, as Ben said, too long. They dodged an early bullet. The Lions kicking her behind. 3:20 gone in the opening term. Brisbane through Rich. Kicks towards left half forward. Will just travel inside the forward 50. Off hands down to Sarong. Lovely gather. Hand pass to Cox. Hand pass to Akers. The Dockers are away. Brayshaw from right half back. Kicks towards right half forward. Logue juggles it. He's been paid it. No, it's gone the other way. Battling up against Andrews. The line gets the free kick. Infringed. And he'll go short to Bailey, who still has it at left half back. Brisbane by 1 point. 4 gone in the first.
So Bailey just backward of the wing. Northern side of the ground for the Lions. Kicks forward of it towards McStay, who goes up in front. Brennan Cox clatters it away. We'll get a throw in. Chris Fagan coaching from the bench, as is his wont generally. Justin Longmuir up in the box. Umpire spins it back in. Darcy works his way to the front. Slaps it down onto the footy. Young for the Dockers. Handball to Mundy. Handball to Sarong. Handball back to Young. A chance to use that left boot. He just kicks it long and high. Logue and also Adams. And Logue works his way to the front and marks. Just forward of halfway, northern side of the ground. He'll wait a kick for Brayshaw. He can take the mark 55 out. The Dockers just building methodically. Brayshaw unsure, ignores a Mundy lead. Now he accepts the offer from Mundy and goes short. He marks right on the paint of 50. And the old wily vet goes back as if he's going to kick for goal. Justin Longmuir saying during the week he doesn't expect him to stop anytime soon. It's very close to the man on the mark. Arcs out late. Drives it long on goal. It'll go right to the line. Touched on the line. It stays in play. Lob goes after it in the goal square. We're going to get it checked. The umpire wants to come and have a look.
Bit of ruck 101 down there as the opposition ruckman. You don't want to punch that back into play like that way. You just get it over for a point and kill the contest.
Well, they are going to check it. It's hit the goal umpire's shoulder. Off hands. It's hit his elbow, in fact.
Brisbane have had 4 inside 50 so far, and Fremantle just the one. So
they're doing a really good job of setting up through the midfield of their big defensive wall. Brisbane, Fremantle just struggling to get it over the back.
So it's clipped the right arm of the goal umpire, who's straddling the left-hand goalpost.
So what's... Are they weighing up whether it's...
So behind. So the goal umpire counts as an extension of the goalpost in that situation, as I understand it. So essentially it's hit the goalpost,
yep.
One behind.
The right call. To take an awfully long time to sort it out as the Lions go short. Rich into the left back pocket. Comes down to McCluggage. Will pause. McCluggage goes on a bit of a run. Sends it back to Rich between full back and centre half back. Which will just pop it over the top. McCluggage continued his run up the corridor and then kicks beyond defensive 50 to the southern wing. One-on-one battle. Ryan against McCarthy. Ryan won it down. Freo give away a free kick here. Infringing in the contest. It comes to Berry. Kicks into the right forward pocket. Walker tries to spoil. Cameron gathers. Goes back by hand to Zorko. Clever hand pass. Bounce it into the ground to Cameron. He'll kick towards McInerney. Cox got there first. Sees it over the boundary line. It'll be a throw-in at right full forward for the Lions. Scores one behind apiece. 7.5 gone in the opening term. If you've just joined us earlier today, Collingwood won a thriller over the Hawks by 4 points.
McInerney and also Darcy. McInerney wins it down, but the Dockers have the numbers. Aish, handball back to Clark, handball back to Aish, who's tackled heavily by Berry, drives him into the turf. The umpire circles, the ball comes out eventually. Going in again is Aish. Flicked out the back, McCluggage tracks after it. Mundy there with him. Out of play, and we'll get a throw in. 53 around from the attacking goal for the Lions. One behind apiece through the opening 8 minutes on Grandstand AFL.
Boundary umpire in the bright sunshine. Throws it back in. Fort got his hand to it. Spilled down. Berry couldn't gather. Darcy did get it. Working hard, the big Freo ruck. Handed it off to Mundy, then to Brodie. Kicks down the outer side, and he finds Lowe. Just shy of centre wing. Heads towards left half forward. Beautiful kick to Tucker. He marks. Freo and Lions players stream inside Freo's forward 50. The kick is short to Aish. Pauses for a moment. Congested forward 50 now for the Dockers. Aish will put it into the left forward pocket. Big fly from Coleman off hands down to Banfield for the Dockers. Tried to get a hand pass away to Meek. Banfield has a second go at it. Emerges out the back. Coleman got it to Rich. Kicks around the body towards right half back. It bounces over the top of Aish, who has to turn. But it crosses the boundary line before he can get there. It's at left half forward for Freo. Scores level, one behind apiece. 9 gone opening term. Grandstand AFL. Clint Wilden alongside Ben Cameron in commentary.
Ford into the ruck for the Lions. Brings it down in front. Robertson onto the football. Gives it off to Berry. Hooks it towards the wing. High ball coming across there with McStay's Hughes, and it's out of play. Pitches just in. Throw in on the southern side of the ground. One behind apiece opening 9.5 minutes.
Yeah, it's interesting here. Both teams looking to use the ball with a bit of method going forward at the moment. They're not just pulling the trigger and going in long and fast.
Darcy brings it down for Brodie. Crawling on all fours, he goes after it. Eventually Neal extracts it for the Lions onto the logo. Stabs it short to Hipwood. And Hipwood marks. Up inside the centre square. Now he looks inside 50. Eventually he'll kick it long towards the pocket. McStay's down there, has a run and jump, and he's got it. McStay, 25 metres out, deep in the right forward pocket, is able to take the mark.
Really good early work down on his opponent in Hughes. Just bodied him, left himself lots of space to work towards the ball drop, and just out-muscled Hughes there.
A free agent at the end of the season. Story suggesting the Brisbane Lions have offered him a 5-year deal. Interest from the likes of Essendon. Right side for a left foot up. McStay comes in and guides it wide. Across the face, a minor score. Brisbane 2 behinds, Fremantle 1 behind. 10.5 into the opening stanza.
Ball hasn't been returned as they would have wanted. Second ball's on the ground, so Walker goes short as Fremantle look to build again. Kicks with Hughes. Takes a couple of steps from the right back pocket, kicks towards centre wing. Logue, front position. Going up, Darcy. Good mark from the big fella. He's got it for Fremantle, just shy of the northern wing. He'll kick with the left, high up into the air. Big fist came from the side, punched over the boundary line by the Lions. Really getting to that was Answorth. There'll be a throw-in right half forward for Fremantle. Reasonable crowd in today. Looking at least 35, possibly nudging 40 as Fremantle celebrated going past 50,000 members earlier this week. The ball spun in again. Meek will do the ruck work up against Fort. Fort won it down, but it was straight to Brody. Akers kicks inside forward 50. Unable to quite get to it. Logue spills out the back. Starcevic gathers, breaks the tackle of Banfield. Starcevic continues and then kicks towards right half back. He measures it and he finds Cameron, who marks for the Lions, who lead by behind. 12 gone in the first.
So Cameron back home in WA pinpoints a pass towards the wing and Berry. Lots of West Aussies out there today for Brisbane. Moves it on to Zorko, who tries to pull a kick back to McStay. Now Robertson gets it on the boot. Comes off the side of his boot out towards the boundary line and tumbles out. A throw in to come at right half forward for the Lions. Clint Wilden, Ben Cameron, Sherrod Wellingham, the Premiership Pie, and dual Premiership Lion Bo McDonald with you on Grandstand AFL.
Definitely feels like they're just still
out thinking each other. They're trying to outthink each other today, aren't they? Like,
the boxers just
touching each other up.
Yeah, just jabbing in the opening round. No haymakers landed yet. From the throw-in, Aish gets it at the feet of the ruckman, kicks back towards the wing for the Dockers. Coming through, picking it up, Harris Andrew as he carries it out. And another throw-in on the southern wing.
What we're seeing sort of away from the ball or the stoppage, it's one-on-one everywhere, and basically Freo have got a spare on one side and Brisbane have got a spare on the other side, but they're really close to the stoppage, so it's just one-on-one contested footy all around the ground at the moment.
Rich leads the way in terms of disposals. He's had 6. As the umpire blows a whistle on play, it's coming back here for the Lions, and Lions will have it. They'll head towards right half forward. Robertson marks. Looks to go back and inboard to Lions again, to Coleman. Gets a kick away into the right forward pocket. Punch came from Alex Pearce. Down for the Dockers. Sarong gathers, got tackled immediately. Umpire Lurks will ball it up. No prior opportunity. Hipwood was in there working hard for Brisbane. One down by Meek. Spills down. Snap on goal is an absolute beauty from 35 metres out. McStay. So he missed the earlier opportunity, and McStay gives Brisbane their first of the day. 14 minutes gone. Brisbane are 1-2-8. The Dockers 1 behind on Grandstand AFL. Our experts, Sherrod Wellingham and Bo McDonald.
Well, he's lost the ruck hit out there and just followed it up off perfectly off the deck. And a nice quick snap. Like you said, he was 35 metres out. Over the right-hand shoulder. Very nice.
Yeah, so what we're looking at the inside 50s now. That's Brisbane have got 7-3, so they really did need to capitalise there. Because often in footy we see, Sherrod, don't we? It's going to go down the other end and Freo will get one. Yep. So,
but like you mentioned before, there's been no clean inside 50s. It's all been pretty dirty going in with no. I'm not sure how many marks inside 50 they had. Maybe just that one. It's just kick into a contest and waiting for something to happen.
Meek and Fort in the ruck, the 2 second string ruckman. Fort wins it down straight to Rayner, who kicks the Lions inside 50, looking for McCarthy, holding free kick. It'll go to Luke Ryan. So McCarthy, the offending party. Fremantle with the kick at fullback. The Lions were jumped last week by GWS, of course. Kicked the first goal here today. Ryan drives it long towards the northern wing, looking for Meek. 2 hands to it. Brings it down in front. Berry there for the Lions. Now Lyons, who gives it off towards Robertson. Run down by Sarong. Puts him under enough pressure. The handball comes out. Pearce gathers for the Dockers. Handball to Tucker. Handball to Schultz. Handball to Collier. Through the middle he goes. Takes a bounce. A little unsure where to go, and his kick smothered. And the Lions win it back through Pryor.
Great effort from Pryor, but then his kick is down the throat of Pearce. Marking for Fremantle just in front of the defensive edge of the centre square. He pops the ball short to Brayshaw. Inside the outer edge of the square on the southern wing. Short to Aish. Goes on a bit of a run. And then we'll send it into the left forward pocket. He wants Banfield. Has 2 bites and completes the mark. Now, I reckon he stepped off his line. He has. So he's forced to kick towards full forward. They come from everywhere through the hands of Logue. It's still there for Meek. Meek. He kicks the goal from right full forward. Just the 3rd of his career. And the 2nd of the season. An inclusion this week. Meek kicks the goal at the city end of the ground, and Freo are back to within a point. 1-2-8 to the Dockers, 1-1-7. 17 gone in the first.
I think Harris Andrews will be kicking himself there. He's let Bailey Banfield take a pretty easy mark, and Harris Andrews, who was once an All-Australian defender, probably haven't really seen that form from him over the last couple of years. He really struggles at the moment if you're watching the Brisbane side. And I think he'll just be disappointed there. He needed to kill the contest and get that ball over the sideline for a shot on goal. But well done to the big fella, Lloyd Meek. He's just improving each week. He seems his fitness is getting up. He's playing bulk minutes down at Peel when he's there. And now he's just able to get to more and more contests, and a terrific relief for Darcy. And they're going to need him today there with Brisbane chucking forward in there as well.
A few people around the competition suggesting that he'd walk into almost every other team, Lloyd Meek. Might be... maybe not Melbourne, in my opinion, but a few other teams might be interested in Lloyd Meek at the end of the season. Here he goes again at ground level, trying to flick it out. Zorko onto the footy, coming through Rayner, shovels out a handball. Lyons then snaps it inside 50 for Brisbane. Ricochets away towards Young. He's tackled heavily, taken to deck. The umpire holds his arms to his chest. And a bit of afters as well. The Fremantle players looking to retaliate after the heavy tackle from Dane Zorko. 1-2-8 plays 1-1-7, almost 18 minutes into the first.
One down by McInerney. Young slapped it back to Meek, tackled by Zorko. Now that is a good effort. He's giving away serious height and weight in that little battle. If we continue with the boxing analogy from earlier. Umpire throws it up again. Brisbane won the tap down. Young just got the kick away before he was tackled by Robinson. It spills out towards Rich. He's at centre half forward. Frederick tries to dive on it. Picked up, though, by Akers to Schultz. They've done well, Fremantle, to Young, who kicks into space on the commentary wing. Ball bounces for Tucker. Gathers, heads towards right half forward. That is horrific. Has it just touched the boundary line on the way out? It has. So it'll be a throw-in instead, right half forward for the Fremantle Dockers, when it should have been in the hands of Sean Darcy. Brisbane lead by a point, 18.5 gone in the first.
Meek and Fort, they lock up. Fort brings it down for Rayner, jams it on the boot, tumbles it around the northern wing. Bringing it down, Cox for the Dockers. Young onto the footy, tackled by Zorko. Out towards Hughes. He goes in again, Hughes for the Dockers. High for a kick. It's going to go the way of Oscar McInerney. Lions wanted to take the advantage, but has to give it back to McInerney, who gives it off to Rich, cruising by. That left foot, a beautiful kick to Eric Hipwood. He marks 47 metres out on a 45-degree angle to the left-hand side.
Good to see big Eric Hipwood back back in the side. I think it's his 2nd or 3rd game. He looks like he's put a bit more meat on the bones this year, and he should be able to kick this.
Distance won't be an issue, will it?
How's the kick from Daniel Rich? You'd like those lasers, Sherwood. You're just coming in here.
24-year-old Eric Hipwood. Only 1 goal from his 3 games this year. On that left leg, he hangs it out to the right. Towards the pocket it goes in the end. Juggled around, nobody able to take the mark. Cox comes up with it. Handball to Aish, handball for Hughes. Hughes will be able to keep it in for the Dockers and kick to halfback.
He does so. Little nudge. Logue out from underneath the football. Umpire says it's okay. Rayner has it. Taking the uncontested mark. So he'll kick back inside the forward 50. No mark taken. Hits the deck. Berry went out after it. He'll be locked in here. Young coming one way. Pryor underneath all of that. Umpire does eventually say we'll ball it up. It's right in front of the goals at the Farmer Freeway end of Perth Stadium. To the left of our broadcast position. Forward 50 for the Lions. Fort. That's an imposing tap. Knocked it down. Lions couldn't gather for Brisbane. Rayner does. Shrugs one tackle. Hand pass to Coleman. Coleman from 45 out. He knew where it was heading the moment it left the boot. A sensational goal for Coleman. That is an absolute pearler. They've got their second, the Lions. 2-2-14. Fremantle 1-1-7. As good as you could possibly see. What a beauty.
I think history repeating. He done that last week on the left. Just quick bang on the left and put it through, and it's handy to have a small forward down there. I think the Brisbane, they just need a contest in that 50, because as soon as it hits the ground, they've got some really good smalls, and that's what I'll be worried about. There's been a couple of times they've gone forward and not able to create a contest, but every time they do, it just gives them a chance, and it also puts Freo under pressure if they win it and they're coming outside the 50 to not be able to hit a target. So that's the key for the Lions today, and I suppose on the flip side for Freo, they just need to hit that target there, a bit of a pressure release, and then go from there.
Grew up in WA until he was 10, Kadeen Coleman. He moved to Queensland. Winning the tap down Darcy, but the Lions have it through Lyons, though he loses it. Neil stripped of it in a tackle, caught holding the ball by his former housemate. Andy Brayshaw got him, who gives it off to Young. He kicks towards half forward, bouncing ball. Logue comes out for the Dockers. It's a handball away. Harris Andrews happy to see it out. Very, very casually. And the umpire says throw it in. It could have easily been deliberate.
He looks very laconic, Harris Andrews, doesn't he?
So the Lions by 7 points, 22 minutes into the first.
Put back into play. One down by Darcy. Knocked by the Lions towards the southern wing. Scooping it up as Pearce for the Dockers. Dodged one. Got a hand pass away to Tucker. Hand pass intercepted by Fort. Tucker goes in a second time, trying to burst through. Robertson couldn't quite keep it in. It's over for a throw in centre wing, southern side of Perth Stadium.
A little bit of a missed opportunity there. It was the first time we've probably seen Freo or Brisbane have any extras around the ball.
Yep.
Alex Pearce pressed really well, but just unable to take advantage of that one.
2-2 to 1-1. Brisbane in front. 22 gone in the opening turn from the restart. The ball's hit the deck and Sarong's gathered and then tackled to ground by Lions. They'll throw it up once more. Darcy at the back, won it down. Neil, though, sharked it and got a kick forward that was intercepted by Hughes, and he marks it left half back for Fremantle. He'll go down the outer wing and he hits Logue on the chest. Playing up forward again today. Logue takes a couple of steps. He's just forward of centre wing. Now he'll put it deep, or he'll actually put it into the left forward pocket. Front position was Lobb, couldn't get there. Came down towards Neil. Short hand pass again forward. Starcevic missed it. Sarong didn't. Oh, and then threw it on the boot and somehow found Schultz. That's a slips catch from Schultz too in the left forward pocket.
It's been taken as an out of bounds.
They said it's gone out. Wow. Well, that was a little bit frustrating for Freo, I think, and for Sarong. I reckon they might have been right too.
Umpire throws it back in. Darcy brings it to the front. Sarong applies the tackle, calls for holding the ball. Spills out to Clark. He has a fumble. Rayner doesn't. Picks it up and spins and kicks to Hipwood in the middle of the ground. Now he wheels and goes. Cameron back leading to goal. Walker there with him. It's a foot race if I've ever seen it. Walker gets a hand in. Does really well. And Cox is there to help out. He chips it short to Akers. Short to Collier. He went step for step with him. Brandon Walker, there's no walking there, he was sprinting and he could go with Cameron. Now Collier goes back to Walker. The Lions by 7 points, 24 and a half into the first.
Kick had to be precise to Walker, it was. He goes beyond defensive 50 to Young. Marks between centre half back and right half back for Fremantle. Moves it short again. This is Clark. Clark will look to come down the northern wing. Clark kicks towards right half forward. 2-on-2 battle. Ball hits the deck. Sarong hand pass over the top by Fredericks over Rennett. Riches there, scooped it in, off a step, quickly moved it to Neil. Hand pass onto Rayner. He runs through the middle of the ground, takes a bounce. Hand pass to Coleman. It's a one-on-one battle at full forward. That's a lovely mark, Cameron. He had Walker right with him. Was able to sort of see the ball come across his chest, stick the arms out and drag it in. He'll go back and shoot from right in front and no more than 20 out.
Almost a carbon copy of their previous inside 50, but just able to get a little bit more body on him early and get it before it had hit the deck. And a great mark by Cameron.
Charlie Cameron.
Great battle so far.
27 years of age, 27 goals in the season so far. He's right in front, Cameron, and he kicks the goal. The Lions, handy little break now as we approach quarter time. They're out to a 13-point lead, 3-2-20 to Fremantle, 1-1-7 earlier today, repeating Collingwood by 4 points over the Hawks on Grandstand AFL.
The Lions there almost played a bit of the old school Pagans paddock.
Yeah.
They all got up high, and I reckon when that happens, if you're playing on a Cameron or a Rayner or a Quick, you'd almost sacrifice up the field, don't you, and just play that goal side and just don't let them get your goal side. Make it a little bit harder. And a couple of times there, like you said, it was a carbon copy. The Lions just got up high and were able to get it over the top.
I think they probably figure that Walker's the only one who's got the pace to be able to stay with Cameron, so if he just sticks near him, might not get out the back, but that kick was just too good.
Yep. And he's done a pretty good job, Walker, hasn't he? Because it wouldn't be an easy task playing on Charlie there.
Now kicked a goal in his last 20 consecutive matches, Charlie Cameron. Jared Lyons with the clearance for Brisbane towards half-forward free kick, holding Fremantle. Ryan wants to take the advantage, moves it on to Frederick on the wing. Marks and goes to Bamfield in game number 50. Has Darcy in space. Can't get it to him in time. Now has to wheel around. He'll kick it long in the Darcy direction eventually. Big Darcy goes up. Doesn't bring it down. Neil at the fall of the ball. Handball to Fort. Handball to Starcevic. High kick towards the winger McStay. Holding on. Ryan's impeded. McStay to get the kick at left half back for Brisbane. 13 points. Brisbane's advantage. 3-2-20 plays 1-1-7. Approaching quarter time. McStay kicks towards the wing. Sarong able to rove it off the pack. Goes back to Hughes, who'll kick dangerously to centre half back where he finds Akers. He slips as he pushed off the kick. So has to push back and then kick laterally to Cox. Cox at right half back. As I said, the Lions by 13. Cox kicks around the northern wing towards Meek, who takes a strong grab. Luke Meek in front of big Oscar McInerney. Will just set it up towards half forward, looking for Logue. This comes from behind from Fort. Down in front, McCluggage met by a strong Logue tackle. Taken to ground, holding the ball. Griffin Logue with the free kick. The mark set 53 metres out from the Dockers' attacking goal. There's Frederick in the pocket. That's where he heads. He marks 47 metres out. 5 metres in from the boundary line at right half forward.
Took a little bit too long then, Logue. Frederick was out there for about 15 seconds. 15 metres closer.
So Freddie, we know he's got a little bit of X factor about him. This would take something special. He drives it on target. Not a bad looking effort. It'll go to the goal square. Lob not quite. Down in front, Starcevic. Starcevic tackled to deck. And the umpire to come in and ball it up. Attacking goal square for the Dockers. The Lions by 13. Not far from quarter time.
Thrown aloft. Spills out here for Coleman to gather for the Lions and send it beyond his defensive 50. Alex Pearce can't mark up against Ford. It's knocked away. Over the top of it, Cox trying to work it back towards Pearce. Got his arms pinned to him, and that'll be holding the ball. Or a throw, take your pick. In the end, the throw was picked out as Pearce tried to work it away. So Fort heads back. It's Brisbane. Dying stages of this quarter. We've got enough time for one more. Comes to Cameron from Starcevic. And the answer is a simple one. No. But they'd be happy with their 13-point lead anyway, Brisbane. 3-2-20 to the Fremantle Dockers. 1-1-7. The goal kickers for the Brisbane Lions, Charlie Cameron, Keaton Coleman, and of course Daniel McStay with the first, while the Fremantle Dockers, their one goal coming from the unlikely boot perhaps of Lloyd Meek. 3-2-20 to 1-1-7. The second place Lions lead the third place Dockers at Perth Stadium. Wherever you're listening on ABC Radio, ABC News Radio and ABC Sport Digital, this is Grandstand AFL.
To watch the latest stories from ABC News and clips from our current affairs shows online, it's time to go direct to the source. Australia's most reliable news can be found on ABC Radio, the ABC News app and the ABC News website. Download the free app now and stay across local breaking stories, updates and analysis from Australia's most trusted news. What matters to you matters to us, and it's all on the ABC News app and news.abc.net.au.
The 2022 AFL Premiership season. Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
One down by Meek. Spills down. Snap on goal is an absolute beauty from 35 metres out. McStay gives Brisbane their first of the day. Banfield has 2 bites and completes the mark. Now, I reckon he stepped off his line. He has. So he's forced to kick towards full forward. They come from everywhere through the hands of Logue. It's still there for Meek. He kicks the goal from right full forward. Lions couldn't gather for Brisbane. Rayner does. Shrugs one tackle. Hand pass to Coleman. Coleman from 45 out. He knew where it was heading the moment it left the boot. A sensational goal for Coleman. Rayner, he runs through the middle of the ground, takes a bounce, hand pass to Coleman. It's a one-on-one battle at full forward. That's a lovely mark, Cameron. He's right in front, Cameron, and he kicks the goal.
This is the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Earlier today, Collingwood won an absolute thriller, and for the second time in 2 weeks, recorded a 4-point win, 10-12-72 to the Hawks, 10-8-68. They're 7-5 now. They've been able to just solidify a spot in the 8s at the moment, the Collingwood Magpies. Here at Perth Stadium, the Lions have had the upper hand, 3-2-20 to Fremantle, 1-1-7. Apologies for the racket in the background. It's loud in the West. Let's get the thoughts of our experts, if you can hear over the top of them. Bo McDonald and Sharrod Wellingham here at Shouty Stadium.
Shouty Stadium. It is a bit noisy. Yeah, I think we made mention of it during the quarter then, but it really felt like they were just feeling each other out then for a lot of the quarter, and I feel Brisbane set up really well through the middle of the ground. Fremantle really struggled to get it past their centre wing. Not through lack of effort, but Griffin Logue was up there. Meek took a couple of marks, but they just weren't able to create enough of a contest there and get numbers there, because Fremantle have worked really hard into their defensive 50 because the ball's been going in there. They're exiting, and it's just getting another turnover, which has been really good from Brisbane, just to set up and repeat inside 50s. I'm sure time and forward half for Brisbane that quarter would probably have been around 60-65% potentially, and Fremantle just weren't able to capitalise when they did get it out the back there, and I suppose score those ones where you get all the inside 50s and then you get it down the other end and score one, but it just didn't happen for Freo.
Yeah, look, I reckon Justin Longmuir will be asking for him to just move that ball a little bit quicker through the middle. Like you said, Griffin Logan, they're getting up and they're taking that grab, but then they're just being a little bit too careful.
Hesitant.
If they can get a switch or change the angle, and it buys a little bit more time for the forwards to get back, and then they can start making the Brisbane defenders a little bit more accountable. Like you said, it's been an arm wrestle. It's like they're feeling each other out. Like Brisbane are a couple of goals up, but they haven't played that much better than Fremantle. So it's going to be interesting to see where this game goes, because we know that it's been very defensive, but I reckon it's going to open up at some stage.
And it hasn't been too much of a structural match either. It's just been, all right, everyone's going to go one-on-one. They're not playing too many games at stoppages. It is really, really one-on-one at the stoppages. And it is just purely who can get the clearance, who can get it inside their forward 50 and then lock it in there at the moment. So, yeah, you're exactly right as well. I think that we will see potentially a bit of an open-up from them. The main ball getters from Freo were there, Sarong and Brayshaw, but I didn't feel like Lachie Neale had too much of an impact then. The ball was in Rich's hands a fair few times coming inside 50 because it was turning over in that area of the ground. They weren't getting in those centre square turnovers. It was happening back on the wing, and he'd either get a handball receive or get to the contest quicker than the Fremantle forwards. So I think that we could see a little bit of a change in the way the ball's moving and stuff through the next couple of quarters.
Yep. Every time I've watched Fremantle this year, when they take risks, they look really good. When they think on the run and it's not so structured and slow and deliberate, it's almost like they need to put some speed on the ball to sort of get the lines.
Thoughts about experts Bo McDonald and Sharad Wellingham. Let's have a look at some of the numbers. Ben Cameron.
Overall disposals, Brisbane have had a little more of the footy, 85 to 79. Contested possessions, they're +9 in that area. The Brisbane Lions. Clearances, 13 to 7 the way of the Lions. Inside 50s, 13 to 8. The marks, 29 for Freo, 19 to Brisbane. Leading ball winners, Lachie Neale, unsurprisingly, with 9. Daniel Rich, 8. Jared Lyons with 8. Then for the Dockers, Young with 7. Brayshaw with 6. Aish with 6.
Particular interest for our Queensland listeners, the incident involving the Suns, Ben Ainsworth and North Melbourne's Ben Mackay from the second quarter of Saturday's match between the Suns and North was assessed. And the match review officer says the ball was loose in the forward pocket. Ainsworth attempts to kick the loose ball, and it was reasonable for him to do that. No further action was taken or required. So no issues for the Gold Coast Sun in all that. Restart in his second term. It comes out for the Dockers. Aish got it in turn to Brayshaw. Missed his hand pass for Walker. Picks it up in the sunshine on the southern wing, right up against the boundary. Kicks towards right half forward. The ball is out of bounds on the full. It'll be a free kick to be taken by the Lions. They'll move it inboard quickly. Comes to McCluggage. Got it from Ainsworth. McCluggage just assesses the options in front of him. Sun has broken through the clouds here again. Kicks to the outer side. Cameron tried to fly. Brings it to ground. Picked up by Ford of the Lions. Hand pass was knocked to ground. Brodie gathers it. Hand pass meant for Brayshaw. Instead, it's found the boundary line. There'll be a throw-in. Left half forward for Brisbane. Shot of Nat Fyfe on the screen here. That'll get a cheer from most of the Fremantle supporters. We suspect we'll see him next week out on the ground against the Hawks.
Umpire brings it back in. Darcy gathers it out of the ruck, breaks a tackle, gives it off to Brayshaw, snaps around the body, lands in the awaiting hands of Rich. Neutral territory on the southern wing. So Rich, southern side of the ground, will kick towards half forward. Darcy goes up, can't complete the mark. And he follows up at ground level. Might have been a free kick. Umpire lets them play. Neale comes away with it. Handball to Starcevic. Handball to Lyons. Kicks low inside 50. And Clark's there to mop up. He marks at fullback for the Dockers. Lions by 13 points, opening 90 seconds of the second term.
So Clark will head to the outer side. One-on-one battle. Was that a little nudge from Schultz? It was. Pushing the back. Taken here by Brisbane. The free kick will come to Rich. Or will it? Indeed it is. And Rich. Such an amazing kick. And he steps around Schultz to give himself a few more metres. And then sends it towards left full forward. Young saw his opponent to ground. Spills out towards Walker defensively for the Dockers to Pearce. Goes looking for Collier but had too much on the kick. And Ainsworth marks. He's got it 51 from goal at right half forward. Brisbane pressing early stages, second term. They lead by 13. Ainsworth will put it to the hot spot. The top of the square, they fly from everywhere. No mark taken. Spills down. Neale tries to get a hand pass out. Was tackled as he did so. Frederick tapped it away from Robertson and picks it up for the Dockers and then gives it to Brayshaw. Freo go down the outer wing.
Schultz looking to run onto it. He can't quite pick it up for the time being. Right there with him, Starcevic. Starcevic fights a draw, then receives support from Rich. Gives it to Andrews, who's a little laconic again with his kick. Puts a teammate under pressure, but a Lions free kick. Pryor to get it. Jackson Pryor, who celebrated his 21st birthday during the week. Now kicks around the southern wing. Young up in front. Doesn't bring down the mark. At ground level, Pearce trying to pick it up for the Dockers. Eventually gets a handball out. Coming through Aish. So too McCluggage. The Lions get it moving forward, but only as far as Darcy. Darcy gets it off to Brayshaw, to Young. Young kicks into the middle of the ground. Dangerous kick coming through Rich. Fists it straight up in the air. Only as far as Ryan. He tumbles the Dockers to half forward.
It'll bounce inside their attacking 50. The Lions can't pick it up cleanly. Andrews under real pressure, but did well enough to tap it out. Pryor then was able to work it on to Answorth and then to Adams. And they can mop up here, the Lions. Back in the right back pocket. They'll move it short once more from Gardner. Adams again, beyond defensive 50. Short pass was precise. It's Brisbane, who looked in real trouble through Berry and then Robertson. And he has it at right half back.
I've got a theory on Harris Andrews. I think he's playing injured.
I was going to say he looks sore.
He just looks
like
he's
it's a bit off the pace.
Had a couple of, uncharacteristic fumbles last week, and he was lucky again on that occasion. As the Dockers, they pick it up on centre wing commentary side. Sarong's hand pass was meant for Brayshaw. Looked away at the important moment. Was still able to pick it up. Went back to Sarong. Now to Walker. To Cox, to Walker. Spilt it under pressure from Rayner. And he's able to gather. And he thumps it on the boot and kicks into space in the right forward pocket.
Ryan will go back and mop up for the Dockers. At left half back, he's run down by McStay. Just gets a handball away. Handball to Sarong. Fumble from Young. Allows in the Lions. Hipwood gets a handball out. Young has to go again for the Dockers. Sarong's there to help out. Receives the handball. Gives it off to Cox. Cox kicks long to the wing where Schultz is out. Or is he? Starcevic does really well. Brings it to ground and follows up. Gives it to Pryor. Pryor kicks inside 50. McStay should have marked. Now gathers. Handball to Lyons. Handball to Neal. Handball to McCluggage. McCluggage the handball back to Pryor. Pryor will kick towards full forward. Looking for Cameron. Young gets a fist in. Going in Ryan again. And they pile on top. Ball up. 15 metres out from the attacking goal for the Lions. They lead by 13. 5.5 into the second.
Just doing such a good job, Brisbane, and not letting them exit anywhere.
Umpire throws it aloft. One down by the Lions, but it goes to Aish. Threw it on the boot. Scooped up here by Starcevic. Hand pass to McCluggage. Back in the team this week. He kicks towards goal. He's missed. He had the shot from about 40 out in the left forward pocket. It's across the face. Minor score. 3-3-21 Brisbane. 1-1-7 Fremantle. We've gone 6 in the second term.
Ryan with the kick in. Short to Young. So Young in the left back pocket. Chips it short. Mark taken there by Akers. 14 points, Brisbane's advantage. Akers will look further afield in the Pearce direction. Pearce comes up, he can't mark. It goes over the back. Tumbles out, a throw in. Yeah, just on Harris Andrews, just the way he's moving it, it reeks of when we'll find out at the end of the year that he was battling OP or something of the like all year. He can't move, he can't get up when he falls over.
To be honest, last year was exactly the same, and that was a bit of the narrative. Is he injured?
Very interesting. Sarong comes away with it for Fremantle. Kicks towards Frederick, who's in space on the southern wing, using his wheels, stabs it short. Lob drops the mark. Can't take it low down. Now Frederick follows up. So too Tucker. Tucker clumsy. Gives away a high free kick on Pryor. And Pryor to have it in the left back pocket for the Brisbane Lions. They lead by 14. Second quarter, 7 minutes in.
Pryor goes on a little bit of a run. Takes a couple of steps, kicks to the outer side, went through Fort's hands. Robertson following up, socked it forward. McStay, met a solid little tackle then from Young, but he bounced out of that. The Lions tried to work it across half forward. Brayshaw's there to clean up for Fremantle. He kicks out towards right half back, and Aish marks. Aish short once more to Young, who's okay after the collision a moment ago. Sends it inboard. This is Brayshaw marking again. Still just shy of the southern wing. They'll go across half back, Fremantle, to Walker, who marks and then plays on to Akers. He didn't quite have that much space, but still had plenty to operate in. Just shy of the northern wing. Kicks back into the middle of the ground. Pearce waits, marks. Rayner closed him down, but didn't get there in time. Alex Pearce, right on the centre line, inside the centre square. There's a blood rule here. Who's coming off the ground? Rayner? Yep. Blood pouring from his chin, I think, certainly down the middle of his neck. He's making his way off the ground.
No rush whatsoever. Let all the Brisbane guys work back into defence.
Yep.
Smart.
Very, very smart. Brisbane in there. Oh, they're away jumper, the more Brisbane style. The red rather than the maroon. The regal line on the front. The Dockers in their home kit. He just hands it off to Ryan, who went behind him. He kicks Fremantle to full forward. Logue flew, but in front was Lobb. There was a pack of about 6. I saw Logue come from a long way back, but Lobb just stood there, hands up, and he drags in a strong mark. He's only slightly to the left of centre. He'll kick from 35.
Really strong. Middle of the pack, wasn't he? Logue did attack it from 3 or 4 deep, but Lobb just stood his ground right in the middle and hopefully finishes.
It's a mark that deserves a goal for its strength. Lobb punches the air with the right hand as it sails between the big sticks. Fremantle have got the first of the second term. They hit back the Dockers after the Lions had plenty of the early field position and pressure. It's Brisbane 3-3-21. Fremantle 2-1-13. 9.5 gone in the second. On Grandstand AFL, our experts, Sharad Wellingham and Beau McDonald.
First bit of play for Rory Lobb there as well. He obviously needs to get his skates on his bit, have a bit of more of an impact on the game, and it's really required from him as well. Just not having that presence forward of the ball, he could be really, really important now. Confidence player, as we know.
A couple of times I've looked up in general play, and Daniel Rich is his opponent, so Richie's happy to get off him. He's got 100 metres gained or whatever he's got at the moment. He's killing him, but if Lobb can get back and be like that, it's going to make Richie accountable.
Bounce in the middle. Fort and Darcy. Darcy hooking it down. Fort following up. Jams it on the right boot. End over end to half forward for the Lions. How about to pick it up and tackle the ground quickly. McCarthy somehow gets a kick away. Gets it onto the boot. It dribbles 3 metres. McCluggage picks it up. Squeezes a kick towards full forward. Cox does well. Cameron comes through. Bursts through. Paddles. Gathers. Sidesteps. Handballs to McCarthy. Bundled over there by his former teammate in Aish. The former line, at least in Aish, and then Clark is able to kick to the wing, and Andrews marks for the Lions. Out point Schultz.
Moves it back into the middle of the ground. The mark has just been taken. Answorth diving forward, almost ricocheted off his chest, but he was able to drag it in. Takes a couple of steps forward and kicks to right half forward. Players come from everywhere. Pack crashes to the ground. It's over the boundary line for a throw in right half forward for the Lions. So you're at the ground and you're wondering why the Lions are wearing black armbands. We've got an answer for you. Akash Fodadar will have it next time we the ball going out of play. Some running repairs too, by the way, on Cam Rayner. He's about to return to the fray. Had to tape him up. Thrown in. Fort won it down. Stopping forward by Brody. He might have been held without it. We'll get the free kick. So Brody has it for Fremantle at left half back.
Brisbane leading by 8 points. Brody stabs it short to Mundy. Good kick. Mark on the logo. Mundy forward to Brayshaw, attacking edge of the square. Now he turns and goes. Has Logue peeling back to goal. Logue marks in the goal square. Whacks it through. And it's on in back play as well. Players are coming from everywhere. Logue, the goal kicker, no time to celebrate. He streams over to get involved.
And you thought the fights were on in Melbourne today.
This has got really some feeling in it too. This isn't the argy-bargy. This is genuine biff. It's starting to settle now, but it was simmering.
There were 3 separate areas where melees had broken out across the ground. Almost everyone was involved.
Now the Dockers get their time to celebrate. She's wearing a low-cut number. His jumper ripped down the middle. Headband dislodged, now replaced. And Griffin Logue finally gets a chance to celebrate. Fremantle's third. It's a 2-point game. Brisbane by 2. Halfway through the second term.
Well, there's some juice in the building now, and that's probably what the Fremantle supporters would have wanted. So it'll be an interesting next 5 minutes here.
Fremantle fans have responded to it. Whatever sparked it, we're yet to find out. There are a couple of Dockers who look like late 70s rock stars with the chest out because the jumper's been ripped. Back to a 2-point game. That did just spark to life. Underway again. Meek wins the tap down. Gathered by Rayner. Back on the ground. He'll kick inside the forward 50. 2-on-2 battle. Cox won it down at the back at full forward. Good tackling too from Cox. Wrapped up his line's opponent. Allowed Aish to gather. Gave it to Brayshaw. Kicked beyond defensive 50. Sliding out Schultz. And then taking a long time to let him get up is Starcevic. And now there's 50. The Fremantle fans who have been quiet at times, they do fire up, and Zorko and Ryan continue on off the ball. Ball in the hand of Schultz. He will put it inside attacking 50. No mark taken. Spills off hand. Ainsworth. Oh, down to Akers who wraps it up. No Pryor will ball it up between centre-half forward and full forward for Fremantle. It's the Lions 3-3-21. The Dockers 3-1-19. 14 gone in the second.
Perth
Serious
Stadium
emotion
is
on it,
rocking.
isn't there?
Yeah. Fort brings it down. Coming through, Akers. Loose footy, top of the attacking goal square. Fort. Handball away to Ainsworth. Clearing kick. Will find Aish. He marks on the 50. Has men hailing the cab. Doesn't like any of those options. Goes short for lob. Oh, he sticks out the Jukes. Doesn't complete the mark. Bailey spoils. Now Bailey follows up. Handball away to Zorko. Zorko, a cool kick to the wing. Cameron Walker right there with him. And he fists it away and then follows it up out. Cox bumps Cameron into Walker. We'll get a throw in. Perth Stadium is rocking. The Purple Army have found their voice. 2 points Brisbane's lead. Quarter hour mark in the second.
Fort wins it down. The Lions out after it through Neal. Sarong gave him a little nudge. Allows Mundy to pick it up. Brayshaw breaks one tackle. Back to Mundy. Hospital hand pass. Tackled immediately. Can he get it clear under the presence of Lions? The answer is no. It is ferocious downstairs. This cross-country battle, second versus third, as the Dockers through Brayshaw to Ryan, still with the rip jumper, kicks towards centre-half forward. No mark taken by Banfield, spilled out to Schultz, bounces a hand pass to Lob. Oh, couldn't quite control it. And the Lions through Starcevic, happy to see it over for a boundary throw-in. We've had a great weekend of footy, and this is looking like it's been set up for another classic. 3-3 to 3-1. The Lions lead 16 gone in the second.
Been a bit fumbly today, Fremantle. Meek decisively with the tap. Rayner bumped off his kick. Sarong after it. Zorko there with him. Brayshaw crashes in. On top of him, McCarthy. And we'll get a ball up. Half forward for the Dockers. Blood rule again. And Zorko, whose hand looks mangled.
I hope it's not a bad dislocation.
Oh, that did not look good. Blood coming from his hand. And Zorko cradling it. He replaced by McCluggage. That did not look nice.
There's a lot of blood coming from that left hand.
And Cash Rotterdale will keep an eye on that. Meek and Fort. Fort bringing it down. He goes again at ground level. Squeezes out a kick. Ryan tracks it back for the Dockers. Handball to Akers. Tries to break through a couple. Eventually gets rid of it. He doesn't. Holding the ball. The Lions by 2 points and with the ball in the middle.
So McCarthy assesses what's in front of him. He looked to switch play. Down to the southern wing. With Markson plays on. Hits Coleman on the chest. Spins. Sends it inside the attacking 50 to the left forward pocket. Coleman! Leading out and marking. He has it a couple of metres shy of the boundary in the left forward pocket and about 45 from goal.
Brisbane able to change the angle up there off half-back. Just allows Charlie to get into that leading lane out the other side.
When he sees it going out there, he'd be licking his lips, wouldn't he? Because he knows he's got the pace.
And he's got the skill to finish from here. Couple of deep breaths. Cameron snaps around the body. It's across the face. Ball's kept in play. At right full forward. Mundy's there for the Dockers. Broke one tackle. Got away from Hipwood beautifully. The veteran, the wily veteran to Aish. On in turn to Ryan. Now to Hughes. Hand pass to Brayshaw. A chain of hand passes. Has them with Walker at right half back. And Fremantle are away.
Down the southern wing they go. Load going back. He can't complete the mark. At ground level, Ainsworth. Handball back to Kadeen Coleman. Handball back to Ainsworth, who kicks towards the wing. Doing a good job, Walker. He's hurt himself in the process, though. Has to butter up again. Tackled by Answorth. And it's held in, a ball up. Neutral territory on the southern side of the ground. It's a cracker.
He was still reeling from that last contest then when the ball just landed in his lap.
We've had blowouts out west this year with the Eagles. Lob down to Sarong, to Hughes. Kicks inside 50. Lob comes out. Andrews at the back for the Lions. Handball back to Adams. Short kick to Coleman. And a Lions player is down in back play as well.
I think it's Gardner just got a big dirty cork.
Right on the hip pointer, I reckon, as well. Still writhing in pain as the Lions bring it towards the broadcast wing.
Trainers come to him, but yes, he's spot on. He's in agony as Coleman has it for the Lions on centre wing. Steers it inboard. Chance to build again. It comes from McCluggage. Now to Bailey. Kick towards full forward. Mark not quite taken. Pearce was able to knock it away from McCarthy. And then he effects the tackle with the help of Ryan, who's a Lions player between those two Dockers. Absolutely crunched. Oh, it's Rayner. Goodness me. And still more push and shove. Hipwood and Luke Ryan just exchanging a few pleasantries. Great contest so far. Meek wins it down and then goes and gets it himself. Hand pass to Sarong. Hand pass into space. Aish gets there first. From the right back pocket, he kicks it to Collier. And he marks it right half back for Fremantle, who trail by 2 points, 19 gone in the second.
Collier kicks around the boundary. And a leading load drops the mark he should have taken on his chest. He's good enough to recover. Now has to backfeed a handball. Back to Brayshaw. Back to Collier. Collier can tightrope the boundary with a kick. It's a good one for Ace. Gardner coming from the ground. Cash Fodder.
Yeah, Dane Zorko's actually also headed down the rooms as well. He had that left thumb and left wrist taped up on the bench, but has now gone down to the rooms.
Darcy Gardner looks like he's in a bad way. Hope it's not the kidney or something of the like.
Yeah.
Long kick inside 50 for the Dockers, bringing it down one-handed. Darcy to Banfield. Game 50. Snaps and misses. Would have been a nice one for the milestone man, not to be. A single point is the difference.
I don't mean to overplay it, but Gardner, well, he was down for well over a minute. Like the elbow of Lob in the marking contest is what's got him. He was down for a long time.
And holding his back, which is not a good sign.
Not at all. So with that and all the blood that was pouring from the hand of Zorko, they're the walking wounded at the moment, the Lions. Just a shot of him on the bench, Gardner, a shake of the head, trying to just keep himself as upright as possible. Ball spun back into play at left half forward for Fremantle. One down by Meek. Comes out to Bailey. They slap forward. McCarthy says, I'll just knock this on. Unable to pick it up was Hipwood. Scooped up by Hughes. Too young for the Dockers. Now to Clark. On him to Sarong. Bursting towards centre half forward is Aish. He sees an open goal square. He takes the invitation. Fremantle. They hit the fronts. And the purple crowd in at Perth Stadium go absolutely berserk. They're up by 5, 4-2-26 to Brisbane 3-3-21. 22 gone in the second term. Their first lead of the game.
It was all just down to that forward handball from the stoppage, and we haven't seen it all day so far, but a bit of overlap footy, and then Aish just finds himself in the right spot at the right time. It was a beautiful finish outside 50, but it was also had the option of Lob, who hit up really well and created the space out the back behind him that Aish was able to kick it over into.
The Dockers have kicked the last 3. All 3 of this second term. James Aish, who was in the coaches' votes last week for his second half job on Clayton Oliver, hitting the scoreboard here. Meek in the middle, bounces back to him, snaps around the corner, ricochets off the head of McCluggage. Rich is able to gather, off to Coleman, snaps back into the middle of the ground. Bouncing ball for Robertson. Handball misses the target. Allows in Tucker, though, beating him to it. Robertson goes again. Then Banfield steals it back, gives it to Sarong. Mundy's in space at half forward. He marks, wheels towards 50, centres it towards Logan, doesn't get there. Starcevic marks at full back for the Lions. A little reprieve. The Dockers by 5. 23 minutes into the second term.
Starcevic to Berry. Now on to Neal. Disposal 14 for him as a kick down the wing. And waiting to mark is McCluggage. Off a step. Pops it over the top to Lyons. Leading out towards the boundary. Goes short again. Marking there McCarthy from right half forward. Kicks inside forward 50. That's a strong grab to Rayner. Coming the other way was Cox. There was physical contact between them. Rayner was able to nestle the ball into his chest, and he takes the mark. That was a beauty.
Great contested mark there. Come at it full-chested, didn't he?
Yeah. Former number one draft pick. I think he's up to 70-odd games now.
He's got the strapping around the head after the cut to the chin earlier on. Rayner, it's a tight angle from the right forward pocket. He kicks from right on 50. It's across the face. It won't be a goal, but it might be an unbelievable mark in a pack. The lines are up, and they've dragged it in through Hipwood. Eric Hipwood, that's a great grab. He didn't give it up.
Another 5 or 6 man pack there, and he's just come through with the absolute pluck.
Definitely going for goal. Nevertheless, Hipwood's delighted with it.
I just don't like these ones on the narrow side this close.
Yeah, from 45-degree angle from no more than 15. Eric Hipwood starts the approach. Kicks on its way. He puts the lines back in front at the 25-minute mark of the second term. Steering it through at the city end of the ground. And Brisbane respond. They lead again by a point. 4-3-27. Fremantle 4-2-26. 24 gone in the second. One of the greats of commentary would say it's all happening. But it is. Different game, but it's all happening here.
It's a timely goal, isn't it? Because you just felt the momentum and the
crowd.
It was all behind Fremantle, wasn't it? So it's away from home. That's a really important goal to sort of even the match back up.
And then a really smart bit of craft by Hipwood there as well. He was against Cox, I believe it was, but just a couple of Z patterns behind the I suppose, contest was due to fall and just launched at it. Perfect timing.
I think it's been the knock on Hipwood. He's very good at getting up the ground and getting off his opponent and taking a grab, but that one-on-one contest stuff, I think he's looking a little bit musclier this year. He's starting to get a bit stronger.
McInerney and Darcy picking it up. Neil, handball to McCluggage, peeling around the back. He kicks towards half forward, bouncing ball. Cox with a little fumble that allows in forward. Handball looking for Lyons, picked up by Brodie. Handball away to Young, handball to Brodie. Now the Dockers down the southern wing. Kicks forward of the wing, Brodie for Fremantle. Getting back Adams. One of 10 West Aussies in the team today for Brisbane. Takes the mark. Kicks it to an honorary West Aussie, the former Docker and Lockie Neal. Lions by a point, 26 minutes into the second.
That's, of course, the first time that he's played against the Dockers since the story was that he wanted to return home in the trade. That didn't eventuate. He remains a Lion. As Cox has it on centre wing. It's a wrong. It's a lovely hand pass forward. Releases Collier. Takes 2 bounces. Runs to right half forward and then stabs it into Lobb, who marks hard up against the boundary. Can he go short? Frederick was on. At right full forward, Lobb said no. It'll be a tough kick. He's beyond the boundary now. Spins the footy over in his hands. Already with 1 goal today. He'll kick from 51 out, right on the boundary. It's high, up and under. It won't have the carry, and in fact, Andrews can just punch it through for a rush behind. Scores a level. 27 gone in the second term. 4-3-27 apiece on Grandstand AFL, on ABC Radio, ABC News Radio, and ABC Sport Digital. In commentary, Clint Wilden alongside Ben Cameron.
So Daniel Rich to take the kick in and bring it towards the broadcast wing. Darcy comes up, almost takes the mark, spills down to Akers for Fremantle. Handball back to Hughes. Hughes will pop it inside 50. Fremantle don't get anyone to the contest. And Lyons, unopposed, takes the mark. Now kicks towards the wing, looking for Lyons. Bouncing ball. Tucker beats him to it, but Lyons worries him out of it. Gathers, feeds the handball beautifully forward for Berry.
Berry takes a bounce, kicks into the left forward pocket. He finds Hipwood again, and he marks 45 from goal. It's again at side angle, maybe no more than 2 metres in from the boundary, kicking to the city end of Perth Stadium. The entire ground now in shade.
Looks like McStay is almost ready to come back out as well.
24-year-old Eric Hipwood, all 203 centimetres of him. Starts in towards goal. Any score to put the Lions in front. Crosses the 50. Kicks from 48. It's across the face. It's a minor score, but enough to give Brisbane a 1-point lead. 4-4-28. Freo, 4-3-27. 29 gone in the second term on Grandstand AFL.
So Brennan Cox will do the kicking in for Fremantle. Runs himself into a pickle. Gets past Bailey on the mark and now kicks long towards the wing looking for Meek. Meek can't bring it down. Brodie at the fall. Now Sarong. Brodie picks it up. Jams it on the boot. Tumbles it forward. Collier, good gather. Tries to fend off. Does so successfully, but the siren sounds. And Fremantle with a 3-1 second term. Bring this back to a 1-point game at the main break. The Lions will lead.
Let's have a look at the goal kickers. For Brisbane, Coleman, Cameron, McStay and Hipwood. While for the Dockers, Logue, Aish, Meek and Lobb. Ben told you, Brisbane leading by a point. 4-4-28 to Fremantle's 4-3-27. Let's get the thoughts of our experts. Grandstand AFL on ABC Radio, ABC News Radio, and of course also now right around the nation. Welcome to our listeners throughout New South Wales joining us on ABC Sport Digital to Perth Stadium. Let's hear from our experts to have them on board. Sharrod Willingham, wait for the big introduction, Bo. I was about to pump you up. Sharrod Willingham, Premiership pie, and here it is. Dual Premiership player, Bo McDonald.
Yeah, look, I think it's 4 goals each, so it's a pretty low-scoring game like we spoke about at the start. It was going to be very defensive. Look, I felt Fremantle probably had the most of the momentum in that quarter. But yeah, it's an arm wrestle, and I reckon it's really going to open up, and it's going to be the team that wants to get the ball out the other side of the ground and take the game on. And get it in a little bit quicker as the fatigue sets into the game. But at the moment, it's just an arm wrestle against obviously Freo, the best defensive team in the competition, and the Brisbane Lions in a team. I reckon they've had 100 points kicked on in the last 2 games. I reckon that they would have been pretty strong on how their defence goes today. So I reckon that's what we're seeing at the moment.
I think we've seen you're exactly right. We've seen a really good team defence from Freo that we're used to, but I feel like Brisbane have set up a really good back 6 or 7 behind the ball, which has been able to repel any forward 50 or forward momentum from Freo. But that quarter was exhilarating. That felt like a final almost. There was bodies going everywhere. There was obviously a bit of argy-bargy, which you hope the boys don't lose too much money over, but I'm sure there'll be a few donations going out. But I loved the emotion in it then. It felt like there was a lot on the line. Every contest, the boys were going really hard at each other. And that's what you come to the footy to see, which is why it built up the whole crowd. Everyone was really behind them. Anytime something would happen, the crowd was the loudest we've had here in weeks. So it was a great quarter. But we saw a couple of times there where Freo were able to use forward handball, which they haven't been able to do at all.
Yep. And Brisbane, really caught Brisbane out,
it caught them off the guard. So they've taken that corridor option, which Brisbane have done so well at guarding at the moment. They took a couple of options that they might not have earlier on in the game, and we've seen that little bit of open play using the extra number. If they can continue to do that against Brisbane, that's the only way I think that they're going to be able to get those clean inside 50s that are going to be of use. Otherwise, they're just going to be kicking it to Brisbane numbers again and again and again.
Yep. Yeah, it certainly is. It's those repeat entries that they're looking for, aren't they? And it's amazing how sometimes when you just bang that outside and it comes back in, that's where you get a score from. I think I'm just looking at the numbers here. Like Daniel Rich, yeah, he gets a lot of metres gained because he kicks out, but he's sitting up there with 14 touches. I reckon that's something you want to rectify, and how Freo can get that done, because he's been pretty damaging. James Aish, for me, he's had a terrific first half of footy and just keeps popping up. Yeah, just keeps popping up and giving them some attack. So look,
it has been a really even contribution from 15 or 16 players on each side. It's been like everybody's chipping in, winning their one-on-ones.
Yep. It's all very careful, isn't it, at the moment?
Very. Everyone's having a nice equal contribution. It's just going to be, I think, who can open up the game earliest in this third quarter.
Yep. And I think your point's the one for me. If I was Justin Longmuir, I'd be saying, boys, let's go forward under pressure every time and put it on them, because every time they've gone slow, and Brisbane have been able to react and adjust, but every time they've just gone quick, they've sort of caught Brisbane out there.
And what they've done really through that back half is get that release and then have nothing to go to. And they've done a really good job of finding that short little, 15 metre kick, 15 to 20 metre kick on the 45, which just transfers a little bit of pressure, but doesn't actually move you into a more damaging position on the ground. And so I think that when they move the ball with hand, or maybe go for a longer 45 out to the open side, a number of times we saw Frederick out there just waiting for the ball to come to that open side. And alternatively, like we said, when Charlie Cameron for Brisbane, if he gets it out on that open side, he's just going to be able to run right.
We haven't had too many chances to get our text message correspondence into the game, but if you want to, feel free to send us a text, 0437 774 774. The number always is on Grandstand AFL. I knew someone would text in when you said what you said, Ben Cameron, but I will defend my colleague next to me. Hello, Mark in Adelaide here. Lockie Neely's a South Aussie. Ben did say he's an honorary West Australian.
Yes.
Now, he's from... Now, if I get this pronunciation wrong, I do apologise, and Mark, you're quite happy to give me the phonetic. It's Kaibi Bolite, isn't it?
Kaibi Bolite is right.
Yeah, it is Kaibi Bolite. Yes, we know. We used to speak to Lockie almost every third week here, and had a chat about the town he grew up in. So, yeah, you absolutely are 100%. He is from South Australia.
No. He's 90% right, Mark. He's wrong and he's right, so...
Well, no, he's right.
He's right that he's South Australian, but he's wrong in his pickup.
Yeah, that's right.
Sorry, Mark.
Honorary West Australian.
Honorary West Australian.
We'll give you an honorary right, Mark, for texting in. 0437. I'm on your side too.
Yeah, I know. I appreciate it.
0437. Son.
Yeah, he...
I appreciate it. Send me such love. 0437
I appreciated it. I'm just...
Oh, that's very good.
Making sure.
No.
There are a lot out there today because it's interesting, just following on from that. I mean, Kadeen Coleman grew up in WA until he was age 10. Charlie Cameron spent time in WA and was drafted out of WA, but grew up in Brisbane generally, but played his footy at Swan District before he was drafted. So, how do you actually define someone? It's kind of like...
How do you mean you just say Brisbane, WA players, Brisbane?
10. 10. Kind of like State of Origin this week. That's in Queensland, How does someone decide what is their state of origin? I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's a fair question. Sorry for laughing. Anyway, get in touch with us if you want to. I'll promise to be more professional in the second half. 0437 774 774.
So I've got Devon Robertson.
Yep, from the Mighty Perth Football Club.
Callum Archie from South Fremantle. Daniel Rich from Subiaco in the WAFL. I've counted Kadeen Coleman, grew up here until he was age 10. Jackson Pryor. Charlie Cameron, Marcus Adams and Brandon Starcevic.
Also from West Perth and Starcevic from East Perth.
No,
Adams.
That's 10. 10 West Aussies in the team today. It's a big representation.
Do we know what set off the incident?
No, and we're still looking to see as well on the big screen and indeed here. I reckon we'll find out sometime.
And I wonder how Zorko's hand is, because that's...
the amount of blood that was pouring out of his hand.
Could it have been a webbing or something like that might have been split?
Well, you would think he split the webbing. You hope that he hasn't got a compound fracture
or something. Yeah,
that maybe someone's trod on his hand, but you hope it's just webbing. But yeah, there was blood all over his legs as he made his way off the ground. I think Gardner is okay, but certainly was hit very solidly in the back. It was in a marking contest. There was nothing deliberate about it. But yeah, there were spot fires for a period of time, just breaking out all over this ground. We'll see what we can see for you when we can and let you know. Half-time here, 4-4-28 Brisbane, Fremantle 4-3-27. It's a round that deserves a classic to wrap things up. Hopefully we'll have a terrific second half. Stick around with us, but now let's take the latest from the ABC Newsroom.
ABC News with Satyam Weinstein. The Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says he's confident his ministerial team will be able to find a solution to Australia's gas crisis. Gas prices in Victoria recently jumped more than 50 times higher than normal levels, prompting an intervention from the Australian Energy Market Operator to temporarily cap prices at $40 a gigajoule until June the 10th. Nevertheless, calls are growing for the federal government to pull the so-called gas trigger to limit exports, but the government wants a quicker solution, as any changes to export caps must wait until January the 1st. Mr Albanese says his ministers are addressing the problem.
Madeleine King, as well as my Energy Minister Chris Bowen, have been in contact with all of the appropriate companies and are working those things through. There'll be a meeting this week with state and territory ministers as well. But the former government have left us with a mess.
The new opposition frontbench has been unveiled by coalition leaders Peter Dutton and David Littleproud in Brisbane today. There will be 24 members of the shadow cabinet. The Nationals have secured 6 spots in the lineup, including Deputy Leader Perrin Davey taking on water, Bridget McKenzie picking up infrastructure and transport, and the former leader Barnaby Joyce taking on Veterans Affairs. Mr Littleproud will stick with the agriculture portfolio and says he's pleased with the arrangement.
Shadow ministry team that I bring forward for the National Party is about renewal and generational change. It's about making sure we draw on those that have the experience to bring the harmony and peace within our party room, but bring the next generation through.
The death toll following a massive fire and a blast at a container depot in Bangladesh has risen to at least 32. More than 150 other people have been injured, some of them critically. The blaze occurred in the port city of Chittagong, southeast of the capital Dhaka. A fire official says at least 5 firefighters are among the dead and another 15 are being treated for burns. Large explosions have been seen in the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv. It comes as part of a new Russian offensive on the city. Here's the BBC's Joe Inwood.
The thick black plumes of smoke rising over Kyiv as it awoke this morning were a stark reminder this is a city still at war. The mayor, Vitaly Klitschko, said the explosions had taken place just to the east of the centre, in the Donetsky and Dniprovsky districts. The situation in the eastern city of Severodonetsk remains confused. This is the focal point of Russia's advance into the Donbass, a place where their massed armour and artillery had been making steady progress. Reports of successful Ukrainian counter-offensives took many by surprise, when the talk had been of their strategic withdrawal from the city. If Russia's advance really is being held up in Severodonetsk, then its campaign to take the wider Donbass region will be in serious trouble.
North Korea's test-fired 8 short-range ballistic missiles towards the sea off its east coast today, a day after South Korea and the US conducted joint military exercises. The drills involved an American aircraft carrier for the first time in more than 4 years. The South Korean military says the North Korean missiles flew up to 600 kilometres. Prince Charles has appeared at a concert in London honouring his mother, the Queen, and has thanked her for a lifetime of service. The speech came during the Platinum Jubilee concert outside Buckingham Palace with Sir Elton John, Sir Rod Stewart and Diana Ross among the performers. The Prince of Wales and his son, Prince William, stood in for the 96-year-old monarch who'd stayed at home at Windsor Castle. The heir to the throne paid tribute to his mother on behalf of the British and Commonwealth people.
Your Majesty, Mummy, the scale of this evening's celebration and the outpouring of warmth and affection over this whole Jubilee weekend is our way of saying thank you.
And WA's recorded its lowest number of daily COVID-19 infections in more than a month, reporting 5,368 new cases of the virus. The state reported another 5 historical COVID-19 related deaths. There are currently 208 people in hospital with the virus, including 15 in intensive care. WA's total number of active cases sits at 43,355. And the ACT Health has been unable to publish its daily COVID-19 case numbers this weekend due to an IT problem. The department released a statement saying it expects to release figures as usual tomorrow, including 2 delayed updates. You're now up to date with the very latest from ABC News.
Down the leg side, and it's a brilliant one-handed take.
A legend joins the immortals. Barney is the Australian Open champion.
For your daily sports conversation, download the ABC Sport Daily podcast.
ABC Sport now has its very own newsletter, and we'd be pumped to have you on board.
Woohoo! The ABC of Sport will provide a wrap of all the best stuff that's happening in sport every week.
Simply go to abc.net.au/connect
and get ready for a sport hit in your inbox every Friday.
Get on board with the ABC of Sport newsletter
for content that makes you think
or allows you not to.
the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
Grandstand AFL on ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
He's hands it off to Ryan, who ran behind him. He kicks Fremantle to full forward. Logue flew, but in front was Lobb. It's a mark that deserves a goal for its strength. Lobb punches the air with the right hand as it sails between the big sticks.
Mundy forward to Brayshaw, attacking edge of the square. Now he turns and goes. Has Logue peeling back to goal. Logue marks in the goal square. Whacks it through.
Hughes to Young for the Dockers. Now to Clark. On into to Sarong. Bursting towards centre half forward is Aish. He sees an open goal square. He takes the invitation. Fremantle. They hit the fronts. Rayner, it's a tight angle from the right forward pocket. He kicks from right on 50. It's across the face. It won't be a goal, but it might be an unbelievable mark in a pack. The lines are up and they've dragged it in through Hipwood. Kicks on its way. He puts the lines back in front at the 25-minute mark of the second term.
This is the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Great you could be with us here at Perth Stadium. The Dockers are back out on the ground. The Lions joining them as well. Ben Cameron will have all the numbers for you, but before we go to him, let's check in with what Akash Fodadar has got for us downstairs. Akash?
Thanks, Clint. Yeah, as you mentioned, late in that second term, Brisbane were a bit of walking wounded with Dane Zorko down in the rooms having his left hand attended to, and Darcy Gardner having his ribs and torso checked out on the bench by the Brisbane medical staff. But Brisbane have just run out here after half-time, and from what I can see, both those players are out there, so no... actually, sorry about that. I've just been told Darcy Gardner has been subbed out after hurting his ribs, and Callum Archie comes on, but Zorko is just a cut thumb and he is good to go. And the one last thing that I've got for you, Clint, is you're wondering about the black armbands for the Brisbane Lions. They are wearing them for former Fitzroy player Gordon Proudfoot, who passed away last week at the age of 92. Proudfoot played 5 senior VFL games for Fitzroy back in the mid-50s and also won a reserve's best and fairest.
Good on you, Akash. Just been told by one of our Eagle Eyes listeners downstairs. I probably shouldn't use the term Eagle Eyed when we're doing a Dockers game, but one of our very good listeners downstairs, Zorko's hand ended up under Brayshaw's boot, which was the reason why for the blood. So it's obviously split the skin, but not as bad as it may have been, because we thought, was it split webbing? Could he have had a compound fracture? Certainly looked like someone had trodden on it, but yeah. So now we get the latest update from the Brisbane Lions. So thank you, Akash Fodadar downstairs. 4-4-28 the Lions, 4-3-27 the Dockers. It's third facing second. And what do the other numbers tell us, Ben?
Well, Fremantle have had more of the ball, 182 disposals to 176 contested possessions, plus 9 still in that area. Brisbane clearances plus 3 now. Brisbane inside 50s, 24-20 the way of the Lions. The marks, Fremantle 51, Brisbane 48. Individual ball winners, Lockie Neal with 16, Andy Brayshaw up to 21, Aish with 16, Rich with 14. But he does take the kick in, so he gets a few bonus there, albeit only 3 behinds from Fremantle. Hit-outs, 8 to Lloyd Meek, 9 to Sean Darcy, 13 to Darcy Fort, 7 to Oscar McInerney for the Brisbane Lions.
Still can't let you know exactly why the fights did break out. There were 3 melees happening at the one time, a number of jumpers being ripped apart, but no details as to yet. But I think Sharad summed it up. There'll be, well, a few donations to the AFL coffers tomorrow. We've all tipped Fremantle in this game, which is an almighty thing for the Dockers to cope with. But where do you sit at the moment, Bo, Sharad, Brisbane? They look all right, but then Fremantle have been able to continually do what they required when there's some questions being asked of them.
Yeah, look, I picked Freo by a goal at the start of the game. I think Freo just looked to score a little bit easier than what Brisbane did maybe in that half. And being at home, I think I'm going to stick with them, and it makes me feel sick saying that. But I think the Freo should win the game.
Yeah, I'll keep my tip as the same as pre-game, especially if they are able to utilise that handball and open it up a couple of times.
Ben, you winced.
Yeah, I'll have a bob each way. I think Brisbane might get up.
Brisbane might get up. I thought you were going to tip the draw for a second.
No.
Haven't had one of those yet this season. Interestingly, Fremantle have won 6 third terms this year. Brisbane 9. It's their best quarter of football. And then you can not quite flip it. But in the final term, Freo with 8 fourth quarter wins. Brisbane with 5. Players heading to their respective positions. Lots to talk about. Love to hear from you if you want to get in touch. 0437 774 774. 0437 774. Blue skies, cool conditions, well, certainly by Perth standards with the Brett Delidio shift that we always use here. But about 14, 15 degrees expected tonight. Had a top of 18, but just some wispy clouds above us. The breeze, which is swirly here, but for whatever it's worth, up on the roof of the stadium, showing that it's favouring the city end of the ground. That's the way that Fremantle will be going in this third term. Been a cracking game so far. Let's get it started in the second half. Ben Cameron again on Grandstand AFL.
The Brisbane Lions leading by a point. What's the second half got in store for us? Here's McInerney and also Darcy. McInerney spikes it forward. Williams hacks it out of the air, ricochets to McCluggage. High ball to full forward for the Lions. Cox tumbles to ground. McStay slaps it on. Cameron runs onto it. Lions with the fast start.
It's Harlem Globetrotter stuff there, wasn't it?
He thumps it into the second tier and Cameron kicks the goal. The Lions out by 7 points. 5-4-34 plays 4-3-27. It took less than 20 seconds in the second half.
It was a big fist out of the ruck contest, and then a soccer that McCluggage probably could have gone back and taken the mark off, but played on, and then a beautiful tap down to Cameron. Nice bit of play. Very Harlem Globetrottery.
It was, wasn't it? The fist from the big ruckman. You love to see that. He actually cleared the centre square, so it was a big fist and just got the momentum going Brisbane's way.
Their Mosquito fleet, just outstanding to watch. 9 disposals, a clearance and 2 goals now for Charlie Cameron. First multiple goal kicker of the game. As we restart, the rucks are more interested in each other than the footy, and the free kick's been picked out. It's going the way of the big O, McInerney. Goes back by hand to Rich from just behind the centre circles. Kicks Brisbane inside their attacking 50. McCarthy couldn't mark. Spill down to Bailey. Hand pass into traffic. Emerging with it Sarong. Threw it on the boot. Bounced away from Brayshaw of Fremantle. Umpire spots a free kick. It'll be the Lions, and they'll take the advantage. Quickly playing on by hand. It went to Neal. Then to Robertson. Now to McCluggage. He's at right half forward. Measures the kick inside forward 50. Good spoil diving across. Alex Pearce bounces beyond defensive 50. Schultz is there and he's wrapped up. Umpire says no. It's not what the Lions wanted from Neal. It's going to be a push in the back, slung to the ground, and he'll move it to the outer side. Schultz.
He finds Collier, who gets the little legs pumping. 3 bounces, crosses the 50, fires on goal. Logue's in the goal square. Oh, he tried to let it bounce through. It bounced on its point and came back to him and was rushed through. Oh, Logue decided to let it go through. And it was a horrible faux pas.
You can tell he's a defender. No forward would do that.
Never let it go.
No forward ever would have said, I'll just let that go through. They'd have marked it and banged it into the third tier. The Lions head to the outer side. So we've had the goose step and the faux pas from Logue in his last 2 games here at Perth Stadium. As Brisbane build up again. Goes to McInerney, who's at right half forward. They quickly move it on. So Williams steps inside Young. He'll pop it towards McCarthy and he hits him on the chest. Docker goes to ground. Umpire says no. Free kick to Clark.
Just barreled into him with his shoulder after taking the mark.
That was unnecessary. And a lucky escape too for the Dockers. That would have hurt if McCarthy had gone back to kick that. Clark from beyond defensive 50.
So Clark drives it long towards the wing. Fisted away by Andrews. Down in front, McCluggage. Sidesteps Brayshaw. Now kicks into the pocket for the Lions. In the Cameron direction. So to McCarthy. He can't mark. Ball at ground level. Clark goes back. Handballs to Young, who rushes it through. A minor score. Lions out by 8. So Young will take the kick in. He goes short towards the pocket. Umpire wants him to bring it back. Lions by 7 points, in fact. Young to take the kick in again. Wheels towards the right back pocket. Kicks long on the left in the Pearce direction. Can't quite drag it in with one hand. Lobb tackled out. Another throw in. Marcus Adams and Rory Lobb going at it there. They come from the same club, Swan Districts, in the WAFL. Adams recruited from West Perth but started out at Swan Districts. Umpire brings it back in. Darcy lays it down for Akers. Manages to get a handball out, but too hot for Mundy. Slapping it on McInerney. Handball over the shoulder from Bailey. A little too tricky. And now the Dockers through Young. He moves it towards the outer side wing.
Collier tracking the football in flight. Takes the mark at left half back. Goes looking for Frederick. And he marks as well. Right on the centre line. On the boundary on the southern wing. The kick is back inboard. Marked there by Aish.
Cold out there the rest of the game.
Yeah, he's dispensed with the long sleeve jumper.
Against his will, obviously.
No doubt. Kick towards left half forward. Maybe they've only got one.
Yeah.
Spills down, off hands, roving by Sarong. Oh, what a goal from about 45 metres out. He leapt into the air in pure joy, punched the air, and they come to celebrate. That's the response the Dockers needed. We're back to a 1-point game. 5-5-35 Brisbane, 5-4-34 Fremantle. Off the pack, Sarong beautifully roved, finished with a goal.
Was a great clean footy there, but Michael Frederick, his effort to get from this wing all the way out to the other side, Fremantle able to get the ball out that side and then change their angle coming in. Just a fantastic work rate, and we're looking up at the moment, and Freo's forward line looks very open at the moment, doesn't it? There's only one or two defenders back there and very open.
And Collier also working out to that open side twice now.
Yep.
And it's obviously a directive. It feels like a directive from Brisbane at the moment. Just keep the ball moving at any cost, knock it forward. Even if there's no clear option there, it just looks like they're willing to handball it forward, knock it forward. Whereas Freo, on the other hand, really look like they're trying to utilise that open side.
The thoughts of Sherrod Willingham here on Grandstand AFL. A goal apiece in the second half. A 1-point margin as it was at the half. Here's Brodie bursting out of the middle, almost dragged down in the tackle. Handball to Brayshaw, handball to Aish. Without the long sleeves now. Drives it long in the lob direction. Down at ground level it comes. Archie bursts through, wins it for the Lions. Handball away towards Berry to Starcevic. Good kick to Rayner. Handball into the middle for McCluggage. Handball to Bailey. Through the middle of the ground he goes for Brisbane. Kicks towards Fort. Sweeps a handball on. Pearce comes off his man. Leaves his man. He's in the goal square. Onto Fort it goes. Tackled. Well tackled by Clark. Pearce gets back to help out. Umpire says play on. In the goal square. Picked up by Bailey. Snaps on goal. And sneaks it through. The Freo fans thought there should have been a whistle. Bailey doesn't mind. And the Lions with the instant response. They're out by 7 points, 7 minutes into the third.
A couple of sweeping handballs there, weren't they? I think that... Who was that first one by? It went 35 metres.
Yeah, certainly. It was a bit scrappy there, wasn't it? I think Darcy Fordy got and Lincoln McCarthy in amongst it there. Lincoln McCarthy's he's a barometer player for Brisbane as well, I think. He's a bit like your Toby Green for GWS. He can take a grab on a smaller, on a player or taller player, but he's also really deadly at ground level. But this is what Brisbane want to see. They need to see Zach Bailey, Lincoln McCarthy, Charlie Cameron, the Smalls, the Mosquito fleet we talk about. They need to see him getting busy inside that 50.
McCarthy into the back of Pearce was the Fremantle consternation. Any call there? I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
I thought the right decision.
Clear.
Yeah, all clear for me as well. Dockers get the clearance from the middle. Came to Brodie. Then on inside to Mundy, to Darcy, to Mundy. Kicks Fremantle to Schultz, who marks on the attacking edge of the centre square. Schultz puts it back towards full forward. Frederick marks in the left forward pocket. He would have heard the footsteps of Adams as well, but held the arms up, safely completed the mark, and can now go back and have a shot. 45-degree angle to the left. He'll be kicking from about 35.
Brisbane ruining the missed tackle there up in the middle of the ground. These sort of games, the missed tackles generally end up in someone getting out and open.
Frederick with the set snap. Works it around the body and picks the goal. Michael Frederick sees Fremantle have the immediate response. It's a 1-point game once more. 6-5-41 Brisbane. 6-4-40 the Dockers. What a contest this has been on Grandstand AFL. 9 minutes gone in the third term. Clint Wilden alongside Ben Cameron in commentary. Our experts Sharad Wellingham and Beau McDonald.
That's just work rate from Frederick, because he was up at the top of the 50 when Mundy was streaming through the middle next to Schultz when Schultz took the mark, but then just went hell for leather straight back towards goal. And to take a mark going back with the flight with Marcus Adams coming at you, got to be pretty tough.
Ben's got us a couple of coffees. Well done, Ben. Outstanding work from you.
Thank you. I think Big Bozo just conned the barista into...
I'd argue it's almost intercepted the day.
Yeah. Which box they were meant to come to, but well played, Bo. Darcy wins the tap out of the middle. We'll go again. There's a free kick, in fact. It's going to Brayshaw.
Just starting to get on top in the middle now, Freo, in and around the contest.
Couple of clean clearances, which we haven't seen much of tonight.
Brayshaw runs around, drives it as long as he can towards full forward. Banfield coming at the footy. Holding free kick. Banfield! Archie, the offending party, and Bailey Banfield in game number 50 will have a set shot to give Fremantle the lead.
A couple of really unnecessary ones there. I mean, Rich didn't want him to be able to have a nice clean jump at it, but the one in the centre square was definitely unnecessary.
Sometimes this is an issue. Bailey Banfield bangs Fremantle back in front. They're out by 5 points. 7-4-46 to 6-5-41. Their second lead of the afternoon. In game number 50, a goal for Bailey Banfield.
Looked a bit nervous. Brisbane not really able to get up and get a good clean spoil. Their defenders are all... Freo are keeping the Brisbane defenders really accountable, so it's very hard for them to get off, or it's just all a contest. We're not really seeing many third ups or intercept marks or intercept spoils for that matter. In that one, Harris Andrews really needed to one of the talls needs to come over the top and kill the ball, and it was just left to the smaller players there.
The Lions have had to make their sub. Darcy Gardner out with a back or kidney injury and coming into the game. Archie, the Dockers get the clearance. Good tap from Meek. Work forward by Brodie, only as far as centre half forward though. Starcevic got there, tackled by Tucker. Ball spilled out. Umpire lurks. Neil was over the top of it. It was held to him. They'll ball it up. 52 out from Freo's attacking goal. Fort won it down straight to Lyons. Clever kick around the body to the centre circles. Spilled off hands, racing through Walker. Gathered it beautifully, gave it to Brendan Cox. Kicks towards right half forward. Kick had too much on it for Banfield to drag it in. He has to just hold the footy up against the fence to stop himself so he didn't go charging into it. Throw in right half forward again for Fremantle. Their lead is 5 points. 12 minutes gone in the third.
So the umpire to spin it back in. Short throw in. The Rucks charge towards it. Meek trying to bring it down. Ball comes out. Haish goes after it. Coming through Brayshaw. Gives it off to Mundy, who snaps around the corner towards Banfield again. Kadeem Coleman there with him. Off hands. Might have been a Brisbane Lion. Starcevic taken out of it. Coleman picks it up. Hits back to the wing and Meek marks. Kicks into the middle of the ground. Dodgy kick. Just finds Hughes. Off to Brodie. Got a push in the back. Brodie will get the free kick. Banfield thinks about taking the advantage. It'll come back to Will Brodie. Mark set at centre half forward. Gives it off to Young. Or Clark rather, running by. Kicks towards the pocket, towards Frederick. He can't quite gather it. The ricochets off his shins out of play. A throw in. 25 around from the attacking goal. The Dockers lead by 5. They've kicked the last 2.
Just clarification, Brisbane saying a rib injury to Gardner is the reason for the substitution as it's put back into play. Fort won it down. It's there for Tucker. He snaps from about 45 out, goes towards the top of the goal square, spills down. Oh, Banfield gathers. He spins. He kicks the goal. Oh, wow. Listen to the roar. He's got 2. Read it beautifully. And for someone who's not a noted goal kicker, that's a sublime finish. One from the top shelf. Fremantle, they've got 3 on the bounce. 8-4-52. to Brisbane 6-5-41. 13 gone in the third. Grandstand AFL on ABC Radio, ABC News Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
And once again, we just saw the two talls and Andrews and Adams unable to clear the area with the spool. I mean, they get a bit of purchase on that fist and it goes another 10 metres the other way. Banfield's not even in the contest, but and it's also on the flip side. Well done by the Fremantle forward just to keep it in the area and give his teammates a go.
You can hear the Freo chant go up around Perth Stadium. Meek in the ruck, opposed to Fort. Rayner trying to take it out of there with one hand. Fort a fresh airy. Robertson picks it up. Now Sarong steals it. He's run down holding the ball. Zorko, how about a ping him? And Zorko takes the free kick. Thumps it long towards full forward. Cameron goes up. Crashing in Hipwood. Dockers have the numbers. Aish. Handball away to Cox. Handball to Walker. Handball back to Pearce. Away to Aish, just in the nick of time, and Aish will snap it out of there. Towards Coleman, though, for the Lions. Drops the mark. Gathers at ground level. Zigs, then zags. Handball to Zorko. Zorko, a little fumble with that dodgy thumb, but he paddles it on. Follows it up. Handball's into the pocket. Cameron comes up. Hughes goes hard and low. Does well, halves it. Out of play, will get a throw in. Dockers by 11 points. Quarter-hour mark of the third.
Ball to be spun back in. Both rucks missed it. McStay at the back has given away the free kick. For a little shove, it'll go back to Meek. He's got it in the left back pocket. 8-4-52, plays 6-5-41. 16 gone in the third. And take a couple of steps here, Meek, towards the outer side and then thump it. Thumping kick towards the boundary. Andrews went up, couldn't mark, spilled down Logue at the back. Hand pass to Tucker, breaks the tackle of Coleman, went to ground, was able to bounce up, hand pass on towards Aish. Aish hand passes it forward again. Logue at left half forward, receives it, hand pass again to Collier, steers the pass to Lobb. And Lobb marks in the left forward pocket. He's 30 from goal, about 5 metres from the boundary.
That linking handball again, just really working well for Freo at the moment. Out the back contest from Logue.
Rory Lobb. The set snap again. The noise will tell you the story. He's kicked Fremantle's 9th and his 2nd. The Dockers, they've got 4 straight. 9-4-58 to Brisbane. 6-5-41. 17 gone in the third on Grandstand AFL. Clint Wilden alongside Ben Cameron, our experts, Sharad Wellingham and Beau McDonald.
Well done to the midfielders. I reckon that for Freo, they've got on top in this last 10 minutes, really winning it out the contest, flinging the ball around with hands and getting the game on their terms.
I also think that Brisbane are just getting a little bit nervous at the contest, at the stoppages and around the contest, because they're giving away some free kicks that they weren't doing for that first half. Just need to show some composure here. I reckon there's probably been 3 or 4 clearances as a result of free kicks this quarter.
So Fremantle now with the last 4 and 5 goals to 2 in this second half. Slapping it forward, Darcy. Brodie bursts onto it. Kicks inside 50. Low ball. Banfield to gather. The snap. The third goal of the term for Banfield. He's got 3. All of them in the third. The Dockers have got 10. 10-4-64 to 6-5-41. A 23-point lead. It's a purple onslaught.
Nice and aggressive out the front of the contest from Darcy there. They're on top, and it's a great way to take advantage of the momentum, isn't it? Coming out of the ruck and just going forward.
Straight out the front door there, and the Brisbane sweeper there just got worked in under the ball. I spoke about it before. I think it's been a really good 5 or 10 minutes from all the Fremantle midfielders here working together and getting that method right around the contest, especially at centre bounce with the 6-6-6. And Big Oscar really needs to jump in here and make some strong contact.
Brodie's had 8 clearances so far from Fremantle. They've scored 6 goals to 1 from stoppages, the Dockers, but the Lions will get the clearance here and they'll kick it towards Bailey at full forward. Spilled down to Robertson. Handed it off again to Hipwood. Kicks high up into the air. Oh, Ryan and Pearce crash into each other as they were desperate to try to spoil the footy. McStay, the player underneath it. They come from everywhere, the Dockers, just to give them a pat on the back to say, well done. And spoiled over the boundary line at right full forward.
Forward 50 stoppage for the Lions. They need the next all of a sudden. Clever little tap to Rayner, who goes with the check side and misses the lot. Hit the wrong half of the ball. Bent away from the goals. In the right forward pocket, it goes out of bounds on the full. In the left forward pocket for the Lions, the Dockers to have it. Ethan Hughes to take the kick. Across the face of goal he goes. Towards Brennan Cox, who marks, chips it on to Walker. Look out. Berry gets a fist in, brings it to ground to Rayner, to Cameron. Handball back to Berry, in the pocket. Runs into Ryan. Now Walker has to go after it. Zorko picks it up, flicks it to Berry. Berry pulls it back towards the pocket. Robertson climbs up, doesn't complete the mark. Brayshaw gets a handball away.
Still there to be gathered by the Lions. Neal, hand pass to Bailey. Hard up against the boundary, 49 from goal. Centres the kick. Lions come from everywhere. It spills down to Cameron. He throws it on the boot. He's missed the locks to the right-hand side from 30 out, but was under extreme pressure. No change to that score. The Dockers 10-4-64. We've got the convoy. Missed it. 10-4 to 6-5-41 the Lions. 20 gone in the third.
Long kick in towards the wing. No mark taken. Banfield wrapped up in a strong tackle by McInerney. We'll go again.
Play that to Corbin on Corbin and Ben on Monday.
Probably didn't give Bailey enough kudos for that third goal either. I think it's the second or third time this year that he's kicked a couple of multiple goal games.
Check that in a minute for you, Sharrod, as Mundy wins the clearance and kicks it to Lobb on the wing. Momentum, not just wearing purple, it's got the white chevrons on as well at the moment. As Lobb kicks towards half forward. Load goes up, strong grab. Drags it in. 60 out from goal. Now Load will elect to go laterally to Brodie. He's got it 60 out from home. Crowded 50 in front of him. So just pops it up towards full forward. Plenty of air. Big Sean Darcy in front. Bringing it down McInerney. Straight to Neal. Neal's handball errant. Socket forward by Brayshaw. Into the pocket. Dribbling towards the boundary line. Bailey just carries it out. Deliberate. And Brayshaw will get the kick. Deep in the right forward pocket. It looked every bit of it too. So Andy Brayshaw, does he go the right boot or the left? He'll go the left, the banana. He wheels around and it's across the face. Just sneaking through for a minor score. Fremantle out by 4 goals neat. 10-5-65 to 6-5-41. 22 and change into the third.
Daniel Rich has plenty of players in front of him. He's a thumping kick, so he can go over the top, and he will. Long towards left half back. McStay flew, got hands to it, couldn't mark. Ryan gathers and then stumbles, or Tucker rather, and then stumbles under pressure over the boundary line for a throw-in. What was the question again about Zach Bailey, Sharrod?
No, it was about Bailey Banfield.
Oh, Bailey Banfield, apologies.
How many games, multiple goals this year?
I'll look it up for you when I can. Too many Baileys out there today. Not as many Josh Kennedys, though, or Bailey Williams.
People with 2 first names.
That's right. As Bailey for the Lions, hand passes on towards Neal, who's over the top of the football, making no effort to get rid of this. Umpire circles what we do. It comes out the side eventually, and then Rich in a strong tackle absolutely wraps up his opponent and takes Sarong to ground.
Third game with multiple goals for Bailey Banfield this year.
Thank you, Ben. One down towards Mundy, and he kicks towards right half forward. It's taken over by Rich for a boundary throw-in. Dare I say, appreciate your support.
Umpire brings it back in. in front. Darcy slapping it down in front. Free kick. It's going to come back. The throw is called. So Mundy will get the kick. Fremantle leading by 24 points. So Mundy, 60 out from goal. He'll set it up towards the pocket. It favours Kadeen Coleman. Can't take the mark. Spills to Brayshaw. Snaps on goal. Out on the full. He was under pressure. So a free kick in the left back pocket for Daniel Rich. 24 points Fremantle's advantage. Third term on Grandstand AFL. 24 minutes in.
Kick from Rich beyond offensive 50. Rayner flew. Spoil came from Young. Spills down to Aish for the Dockers. Hand pass to Hughes. Hand passes bounces its way towards Brayshaw. 51 out from goal at right half forward. The centering kick's not what he wanted. Down the throat from Answorth. And he'll move it back to his fellow Brisbane teammate in Rich, who marks hard up against the boundary deep at left full back. 10-5 plays 6-4. Dockers by 4 goals. 25 gone in the third. The kick's out to Andrews. Switches play here, Rich, and Andrews marks still in the right back pocket. If you just joined us earlier today, Collingwood by 4 points over the Hawks.
So Andrews kicks towards a wing. Pearce out in front. Can't quite complete the mark. Picking it up, Berry. Berry kicks forward of the wing for the Lions. McStay takes it in. The Dukes out in front. Now he wants to bite off the kick into the middle. It's a good kick. Spots up Neil. Neil has a man on inside 50. It's Bailey. Getting back, Ace trying to cover him. Does enough. Goes to ground though, Ace. Bailey keeps his feet. Cuts a sway through them and kicks the goal. Bailey's second. And a bit of brilliance from Bailey as well. Back to 18 points. 10-5, 65 Fremantle. Brisbane, 7-5, 47. 6 minutes away from three-quarter time.
I like the decision of Rich there in the back pocket. Instead of kicking it out here to the back flank and just relying on a contest, he went to switch and were able to transition the whole way down with that change of direction that they brought inside the corridor was really good.
Yep. I think they're going to have to attack. They've got to win the game now playing the same way they have for most of it now. I think the team that's going to take it between the teeth and get it out the other side, then change the angles, come back in the corridor. We just saw that for Brisbane, but that's what we've seen from Fremantle as well. So the arm wrestle continues. The momentum's been with the Dockers. I think this is going to be a really important last 3 or 4 minutes here to set up the last quarter of the game.
Lions by 18 points. Fort faces Meek. 2 backup rucks, and it's Fort who gets the touch. Sarong going through, gathers. Shovels a hand pass forward. Met by Rich, though, the Lions. To Bailey. Hand passes back again to Starcevic. Just gets the kick away under pressure. Nicely worked. Comes towards Pryor. Kicks towards left half forward. It'll bounce away from Robertson. He can't drag it in. It's over for a throw-in. I'd say about 65 out from the Lions' goal. They're heading to the left of our broadcast position. The Farmer Freeway end in this, the third term. Spun in again. Meek stretches out the hand, won it down. Bailey quickly gathers for the Lions, kicks inside forward 50. Oh, Hipwood dropped what he should have marked, had a second go. Hand pass in the direction of Cameron. He can't pick it up. Ford applies some pressure, still spills around. Players over the top of it, who emerges with it. Eventually it came out the side. Akers on in turn to Sarong. Hand pass to Mundy. Now to Clark. He needs to get rid of it, and he does. Kicking towards lob over his hands. It spilled down to Starcevic. Ugly bouncing kick into the middle of the ground. Zorko
moves it on to Robertson. Attacking edge of the square for the Lions. Kicks across, laterally across the edge of that square. And Berry marks. Where does Berry look? He goes back to Zorko. Just finds him. At centre half forward. He'll kick into the pocket. A good kick, but it doesn't quite get to its target of Fort. Cameron's at ground level. He'll try and centre it back towards Neil. Neil just nudged underneath it by Tucker. Ryan there almost throws it away. Goes again. McCluggage out to Neil. Snaps towards goal. Getting back Akers. From the Lions, number 9 to the Dockers. Akers marks in the right back pocket. Fremantle by 18 points. Late in the third term on Grandstand AFL.
So Young assesses what's in front of him, gets told to move it on. Kicks beyond offensive 50. Coming out to it low. And takes the mark at right half back. Goes back again. It's where the defensive 50's painted on the ground at right half back to Young. Moves it short to Clark and he marks. Lowe goes storming up towards the forward line. Clark moves it. Short pass to Akers. Young's had 13 kicks and 6 marks so far today for the Dockers. Fremantle sent it high up in the air towards right half forward. Pryor couldn't mark it. Spilled down though to Adams. Kicks the lines in the direction of Young. He's got it at right half back for Fremantle. Hands it off to Akers. Not sure where to go. He's done well. And he spots Frederick, who marks on centre wing.
So Frederick bites off the kick into the middle of the ground. A shocker. Turns it straight over though. Robertson maybe played on. He did. Gives it off to McCarthy. McCarthy kicks towards full forward for the Lions. Pearce gets back. Inspector Gadget arms. He fists it away. A minor score. And Fremantle get out of jail for free there. 17 points their lead. 10-5-65 plays 7-6-48. Almost three-quarter time.
Ryan to Frederick. Lovely pass. Frederick marks. Akers wants it short. Frederick paused and then does send it that way. Akers marks again. We get told to play on. Hand passes back to Ryan with the bright orange boots. Kicks towards centre wing, commentary side. One-on-one battle. One down at the back by the Lions. Bailey couldn't quite gather it cleanly first time and then got it onto Adams. Then moves it to Pryor. Kicks Brisbane to left half forward. Good effort. Oh, free kick has gone against Ryan. I thought he'd done well to get the hand around the front against McCarthy. Officials thought differently. The umpire spots a free kick going the way of Brisbane. Yeah, he did have the left arm around the back. Just the most subtle of holds. Well picked up by the umpire. So McCarthy kicks towards full forward, flying up. Meat got a fist to it, spills down. Walker, hand pass, under pressure here. Tucker should have just walked it over the line. Instead, he's done one better. And he finds Ace, who marks in the left back pocket for Fremantle. The Dockers lead is 17 points.
Rich is able to win it back. Snaps inside 50. No mark taken. Loose footy. 30 out from the Lions goal. Hughes goes in. Sarong coming through. Tackle to ground. Umpire to ball it up. Fremantle by 17. 31 minutes into the third. Slapping it down Meek to Brayshaw to Hughes. Handball back to Walker, who kicks beyond defensive 50. Flying up lob. Slapped away by Andrews. Will get a throw in. 10-5-65 plays 7-6-48. 6 goals to 3 the way of Fremantle in this third term. It's going to be a long one. Already 31 and a half minutes played.
Tackles almost even. 43-42 in favour of the Dockers as Meek wins it down. Now, Sarong put his head over the football and McInerney crashed into him. Tried to leap over the top. It's going to be a free kick. And then Mundy and Neal have a little bit to say. Two of the nicest blokes you could possibly meet. They were unhappy with each other at that moment, but it finishes up quickly. They run away as Sarong from the free kick goes short to Aish. Not from each other, I mean from the contest. The kick from Ace is towards left half forward. Lob battles away here against Andrews. Off his hand, Schultz tries to tap it in the direction of Mundy. Gathers off the ground for the Dockers just inside point 50. Jared Berry got him. Took a moment too long. Berry wrapped him up. He gets the free kick for Brisbane in the right back pocket. The Dockers are 10-5-65. The line 7-6-48. 32 and a half minutes gone in the third.
So Berry in the back pocket. Will kick long towards the wing. Looking for a marker down there. Putting his fist through it. Hughes coming through Bailey. Brayshaw the other way. Loses it eventually. McCluggage able to gather it. Handball to Zorko, who slaps it back to McCluggage. Tackled out. Akers gets him. A strong tackle from Blake Akers. And a throw in just forward of the wing on the southern side of the ground for Fremantle. 17 points their advantage.
It's put back in. Meek at the front against Fort. Won it down. Mundy off the deck. Hand pass goes behind Akers, who's done really well to slap it back to Hughes. Hand pass was right at the bootstraps of Brayshaw, who picked it up, kicks it forward. Banfield under pressure. Had to sweep a hand pass towards left half forward. Couldn't find a teammate. Throwing the results. 70 out from Fremantle's goal. 33 and a half minutes gone now in this third term. 10-5 for the Purples, 7-6 for the Lions. Ball back in again. Meek worked out from it from Ford. Throws it on the boot. Kicks up in the air. Clark couldn't mark. McCarthy almost kicking in danger, but he's allowed to play on. Moved it to Zorko. Kicks quickly towards right half forward, and Pearce with the defensive mark for Fremantle. He'll walk back inside his defensive 50.
Pearce kicks back to Ryan at fullback. Flares it out to Walker at right half back. Stabs it short for Young. Takes the mark. His man Pryor had overcommitted, so he takes him on, kicks to the logo on Frederick, who chips it out towards Collier. Collier can give the handball back to Young. Handball to Frederick. Fremantle have worked this beautifully. Oh, the siren with no sense of occasion. Right as Fremantle were going forward again. 3/4 time. What a turn from Fremantle. 6 goals to 3. They trailed by a point at the half. They lead by 17 at 3/4 time as we turn for home.
It was their third quarter last week that set them up against the Demons. Will it be their third quarter, the premiership quarter, that sets the Dockers up over the lines? Ben said 10-5-65 to 7-6-48. Fremantle's lead 17 points. The goal kickers for the Dockers. Bailey Banfield has 3, and he got them all in that turn. 2 to Rory Lobb and singles to Frederick, Meek, Aish, Sarong and Logue. While for Brisbane, 2 to Cameron, 2 to Zach Bailey, and also singles to Coleman, McStay and Hipwood. Fremantle by 17 points at 3/4 time at Perth Stadium, wherever you're listening. On ABC Radio, ABC News Radio and ABC Sport Digital, this is Grandstand AFL.
ABC Sport now has its very own newsletter, and we'd be pumped to have you on board.
The ABC of Sport will provide a wrap of all the best stuff that's happening in sport every week.
Simply go to abc.net.au/connect
and get ready for a sport hit in your inbox every Friday.
Get on board with the ABC of Sport newsletter
for content that makes you think
or allows you not to.
The 2022 AFL Premiership season.
Grandstand AFL. On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Spills down off hands, roving by Sarong. Oh, what a goal from about 45 metres out. He left into the air in pure joy, punched the air, and they come to celebrate.
Brayshaw runs around, drives it as long as he can towards full forward. Banfield coming at the footy. Holding free kick. Banfield. Bailey Banfield bangs Fremantle back in front.
Won it down. It's there for Tucker. He snaps from about 45 out, goes towards the top of the goal square, spills down. Oh, Banfield gathers. He spins. He kicks the goal. Oh, wow. Hand pass again to Collier. Steers the pass to Lobb. The set snap again. The noise will tell you the story. He's kicked Fremantle's 9th and his 2nd.
Slapping it forward, Darcy. Brody bursts onto it. Kicks inside 50. Low ball. Banfield together. The snap. The 3rd goal of the term for Banfield.
This is the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Earlier today, Collingwood won an absolute thriller at the MCG. 10-12-72 to Hawthorn's 10-8-68. And here at Perth Stadium, it's been a ripper as well. The Dockers 10-5-65 to Brisbane 7-6-48. Fremantle, along with Bailey Banfield's 3 goals in that quarter, scored 36 points in the 3rd term, the most ever from stoppages in a quarter from the Fremantle Dockers. It's why they were able to turn what was a 1-point deficit into a 17-point lead with a quarter to play. Let's get the thoughts of our experts, Premiership Pie, Sharad Wellingham, and alongside him, Bo McDonald, dual Premiership Brisbane Lion.
Yeah, well, just don't see how Brisbane are going to be able to change it up enough in this last quarter for them to have a real crack at it. With the deficit is only 17 points, anything can happen, especially with how quickly goals can be scored, but I just don't see what they're going to employ to make that happen.
Yeah, look, I think it's going to have to happen in and around the contest for getting first hands on the ball. I think in that 3rd quarter there, Fremantle really won the contested part of the game, and then also they were able to get it on the outside and go away with it. So That's, for me, it's got to start in the middle, and they've got to get the ball obviously in their forward half and keep it there. For me, Freo have been fantastic though. They look like the side with more energy. They look like the side with more run at the moment, and that'd be the biggest concern for me.
The contested possessions weren't that different, but it was just more so. I mean, Freo led them, but it was just more so bigger moments when they won probably more important contested possessions and bigger contests that just allowed them to get field position off that contest. And then, I really like the way that they opened that open side of the field in that quarter there and utilised Frederick out there and Travis Collier as well. Just used their legs a lot. Got some different looks in going inside forward 50 where they actually had some hit-up targets. And I don't think Brisbane have been relying on turning it over and then kicking it back inside their forward 50. They've got to take the game on, like you said, win some clearances at the contest and get some nice even players forward ahead of the ball.
Yeah, so we're certainly set up for a good last quarter. And look, it's going to be tough for Brisbane. Freo are in the top four, and to travel over and beat a top four on their home deck,
big ask.
And when you look at the ladder, this is a huge quarter for the season, maybe, because it might come down to, one of these teams might finish second and then get the home final. So it could be crucial.
Some of the numbers in that third quarter: Fremantle +6 in terms of contested possessions. The clearances, they were +5. The inside 50s, Brisbane actually won 15-14. Leading ball winners, Andy Brayshaw with 11, Zach Bailey with 12 in that third quarter. Overall, Andy Brayshaw already with 32, including 13 contested possessions. Lachie Neale with 22.
They've had to do some travelling in recent weeks as well, the Lions. What toll will that take as we start this final term? And Darcy wins it down for the Dockers to Brayshaw, to Frederick, kicks into the right forward pocket, bounces in front of Logue, taps it to his own advantage, then gathers it and breaks free. He'll kick towards full forward. Schultz can't quite mark. Good pressure arriving. Starcevic made sure it went over the boundary line. It'll be a free kick out of bounds on the full. Brisbane will have it at right full back. They'll move it short and put themselves under pressure. Zorko's done well to get away from Schultz. Tries to kick up the corridor. It's dangerous. Punch down here by Aish. It spills to Banfield. Sweeps it out to Aish again. 40 out from goal. Centres a kick. He wants Schultz. Good spoil again from the Lions. And then it's seen by Berry towards the boundary line. It'll be a throw-in. 20 out from Fremantle's attacking goal. They're heading to the left of our broadcast position here on the northern wing at Perth Stadium. The Farmer Freeway end. Their lead remains 10-5 to 7-6.
Forward 50 stoppage for the Dockers. Darcy bringing it down. It spills to Akers. Snaps on goal. Misses it short. No score. Mark taken by Harris Andrews on the last line for Brisbane. Chips it short to Rich. Fremantle by 17 points. 1 minute into the fourth. As we were at the final change, Rich wants to switch it across to Ainsworth. He marks in the right back pocket. Ainsworth will run around and kick as long as he can. Who was that to? The Dockers are there. And Pearce is able to mark. Chip back to Ryan. He marks on the logo. Ryan scurries back off the mark. Tells his teammates to come at him. Now just kicks long and high. Shallow inside 50. Lob will launch at the footy. Hands to it. At the fall, though, Rayner for the Lions. Then a 1-2 there with Neale, and then a spiral from Rayner into the middle of the ground.
Ball's allowed to bounce. Taken by Walker. Got tackled. Spilled free into the centre circles. Clark wanted it on his knees. Worked a hand pass forward. Well done to Mundy. He kicks into space at right half forward. It bounces to Frederick. He runs inside the attacking 50. He finishes the goal! And he celebrates with the crowd. A terrific second. Oh, they're up and about, Freo. Perhaps the number one contender is standing up. 11-5-71 to Brisbane 7-6-48. 3 minutes gone in the final term on Grandstand AFL.
Beautiful finish.
It is. They look like they've got all the run now, don't they, Fremantle? They're just looking a little bit faster.
Look how quickly he celebrates.
Yes,
the ball was
away.
about 2 metres off the boot and the hand was up.
An awesome finish.
Geez, Walker's been good down back on Charlie Cameron. That's not an easy role to play.
Every one of those contests, he's either managed to win or halve, hasn't he? There hasn't been too many where Cameron's walked away with a win.
Never seen a 32 look so good in purple. Run as fast or kick as well. Hello, Peter Bell. Darcy with the tap. Clear and kick from Lyons. Mundy onto the footy. Handball to Brayshaw. Handball to Pearce. Handball charged down by Berry. Did a good job. Now they come in from all angles. Brayshaw goes in. Rayner picks it up. Extracts it. Gives the handball away to Bailey. Runs to 50. Oh, fakes Ryan. Settles from 40. You are a star, Zach Bailey. Brilliant. 3 for him. And that is out of the top draw. Back to 17 points. 8-6-54 move Brisbane. Fremantle 11-5-71. 4 minutes into the fourth.
Big contest on the wing here, won by Rayner, wasn't it? Against Brayshaw. Just went in lower and harder, and Brayshaw's actually had to come off the ground. But Bailey's finish, awesome. I love it when the forwards take on the player coming at them.
Yep.
You got to have a lot of confidence, and that's exactly what Bailey's done there. It was awesome. Yeah. And that forward handball again, it makes it hard for defenders to make a decision.
Cash Fodder, have you spotted anything downstairs as Brayshaw made his way off the ground?
No, I can't see him just yet on the bench. The sub hasn't moved either, so I'll keep an eye out, see if I can spot him.
He's laying down. Looks a little bit worse for Ware as Brisbane move it around through the middle. Lovely hand pass came from Zorko to Lyons. Kicks inside, forward 50. Spills out the back. Clark is there. Looks the hand pass. Oh, no, intercepted by Hipwood. He gives it off towards McCarthy. They've exploded Fremantle and Brisbane through McCarthy have gone back-to-back with majors. Oh, goodness me. What a disaster in their defensive 50. If you offer Brisbane a chance like that, they'll make you pay. 9-6-60 the Lions. 11-5-71 the Dockers. 5 gone in the fourth. It's not over yet.
Yeah, well, gifted one there. That's for sure. But the ball's coming in quick straight out of the middle. It makes it very hard.
Zorko coming off the back of the square too. Very aggressive as a defender coming through for a handball receive. If that doesn't work out, they're going to be absolutely exposed out the back. But you can obviously see they're trying to roll the dice here.
It's been a good move by Brisbane this year, getting Zorko off half-back for little bits. Sort of if Rich is getting held up, he's the one that can sort of get out. He's still got a bit of speed and a good kick.
Back to 11 points. Brisbane are coming. Can Fremantle withstand it? Holding free kick in the middle is going to the Lions. Neil to have it. Fires out the handball to Lions running by. Kicks inside attacking 50. No mark taken. Ball at ground level. Charlie Cameron always dangerous. Onto it. Clark there with him. Strong tackle carries him out. Throw in to come. Left forward pocket for the Lions. 6 minutes into the fourth and a grandstand finish on Grandstand AFL. A cash fodder up.
Yeah, Andy Brayshaw has just emerged back and sitting on the bench seems to be okay.
Ball's back into play inside the Lions forward 50. Fort won it down. Brody going by. Hand passes backwards to Clark. Kicked around the body beyond defensive 50. Waiting underneath it. Neil takes the mark for the Lions. Too far out to score himself. He'll put it back towards full forward. Pearce takes the mark defensively for the Dockers. 11 points is the difference in favour of Fremantle. 11-5-71. Brisbane 9-6-60. 7 gone in the final term.
Pearce kicks long back towards the wing, looking for Frederick. He's caught behind, has to fist it away. And out of play, a throw in. 11 points, Fremantle's lead. It was 17 at three-quarter time. It was 23 points when Frederick goaled at the 3-minute mark. The Lions have responded with the next two. Darcy down for Sarong. Sarong, handball away. Aish, hair flowing behind the headband. Kicks towards half-forward. Coleman back with courage. Wins a free kick. Does well for the Lions. He kicks into the middle of the ground. Dangerous kick. Turns it over. Akers drops it though. Has time to recover. Snaps inside 50. Lob goes up. Doesn't mark it. Adams steals it. Runs into Banfield. Eventually Lob gets it. Out to Frederick. Steadies from 30. Kicks another. 3 for Freddie. A triple treat. And the Dockers back out by 17. 8 minutes into the fourth. 12-5-77 to 9-6-60 on Grandstand AFL.
Doing a great job of holding that outside balance, those forward 50 contests, didn't he? But it was a little bit unfortunate for Marcus Adams because he was trying to get it on the boot really quickly and not even come up from the ground ball and just absolutely wore one. And probably unlucky not to get a free kick there. But a beautiful finish from Frederick. Almost identical spot as last time. And almost as quickly was he to celebrate.
And Justin Longmuir in the coach's box gave it the big double fist pump. Loving what he's seeing from his team at the moment.
They found the Freo chant, the Dockers supporters. Great crowd in as well. And making themselves heard. And the bounce. Attacking the football, Meek. Bounced up into the air. Sarong tackles Lyons, spilled out towards Mundy. Hand passed over the shoulder. Lyons was there again. Knocked out of his grasp by Brodie. Trying to shovel it forward. Lyons sliding on top of the football. Met by a couple of Dockers immediately. It's Archie who's under all of that. He climbs up off the deck. It's across half forward with the right point of the centre square. McInerney wins the tap. Knocked forward. Pryor couldn't gather. Mundy could for the Dockers. Gives it to Brodie. Bounces the kick inside forward 50. Juggled one time by Banfield. Then gathers. He gathered at 45 out from goal. Oh, Bailey Banfield has 4. It is a finish from the absolute top shelf. Delirium in the West from the Dockers fans. They're back to that 23-point lead. 13-5-83 to Brisbane 9-6-60. Nearly 10 gone in the last.
Saw Kate Coleman there just following him around like the old caravan. Just
towed him in.
Yeah.
3 of his goals have been like that as well, haven't they? Beautiful pickups off the ground and then a snap across the right shoulder. Beautiful finish.
Everybody in Fremantle is playing well at the moment.
That's the second time he's kicked 4.
Whose spot's Nat Fyfe going to take? Might need another week in the WAFL. I'm joking, of course. Please don't text in. Bounce back in the middle. Meek goes up. There'll be a free kick to McInerney. Handballs away to Lyons, who kicks long inside 50. No mark taken down there. Over the footy now, Ryan. He's tackled by Ford. And the umpire to come in and ball it up. 35 out from the Lions goal.
Best ever at turn, by the way, for Bailey Banfield in terms of goals. One down here. Trying to get it out. Here was Cox. Gave it to Meek. Clearing kick from Young. The on-defensive 50 to full back. And stretching for it was Schultz. Out the back to Andrews. Dives over it. Can't do much with it himself. The player's going to come in here and will ball it up. Too many players over the top of the football. Good tackle from Lobb on Lyons. Right half forward from Brisbane.
Fremantle out by 23 points. Slapped away by Ruckman McInerney, and the umpire to throw it back in. A win of this margin won't be enough to move Fremantle into second over Brisbane, but they will move level with them on points, assuming they hold on. McInerney slapping it down. Lyons chips it inside attacking 50. Bouncing ball. Coming out McStay. Bailey onto the loose footy. Tries to break the tackle. Gets it onto the boot. Kicks the goal. 4 for Bailey. His jumper was stretched off him, but the tackle didn't really have control. So he did a merry jig. Spun. Jammed it on the boot and bounced it home. Single-handedly he's keeping Brisbane alive.
Crowd seemed a bit stunned after that one. I think because he had hold of him the whole time he was spun around. Is that not the holding the ball these days?
I don't think he didn't have hold of him in a tackle. He just had the jumper one-handed stretched away from him. So I think I never felt at any stage like the tackle had control of him.
No, it didn't. Impeded?
Pardon?
Was his momentum impeded?
No.
Anyway? I think that's the question.
I'm comfortable with that being play on.
I'm just saying, in terms of the umpire, that's the question. Was his momentum in any way stopped? He kept going. Don't know. Don't have an issue with it myself. When you get down, here's Darcy Ford. From the restart, he gets a wobbly kick away, only as far as Akers, though. Moves it short to Hughes. Bounces the kick on in turn to Sarong on centre wing. The hand pass was meant for Schultz. Went away from him. He had to turn and gather. Left half forward. 60 out from goal. Kicks the full forward. Long! That's a screamer. What a mark. Had eyes purely focused on the footy. And the big mitts went up and just dragged it in for Fremantle. He'll go back and have a shot from 25 out. Tighter than a 45-degree angle to the left.
Fabulous strong mark there. When Lobb can get a run and a jump at it there, Andrews couldn't do much more. He's right on him. Had touch and feel, but still couldn't spoil it.
Set shot from Lobb. He misses. To the left-hand side. Should say set snap. Not to be this time. 13-5-83. Sorry, 13-6-84 the Dockers. 10-6-66 the Lions. 14 gone in the last.
So Rich with the kick in. We'll go low out towards the broadcast wing. Adams goes up. Akers going back, brings it to ground. Schultz onto the loose footy, gives it off to Darcy. Tumbles it inside, attacking 50. Bouncing ball, free kick. It'll go the way of the Lions. Starcevic to get it. So Starcevic in the back pocket, kicks across the face of goal to McCluggage. Good kick. McCluggage marks it and goes. Now runs himself into a little bit of a cul-de-sac. His kick not a good one. And Andrews carries it straight out. The umpire wants to spin it back in between wing and right half forward. For Fremantle, 18 points. The Dockers' advantage almost to the quarter-hour point of this final term.
Ball spun back into play. Darcy got the tap, went behind him. Young gathers for Fremantle. Hand pass in the direction of Hughes, set upon immediately by McCarthy, but shoveled the hand pass forward. Tuck up, met by Neal. Fine tackle. No Pryor, though, across half forward for Fremantle. There'll be a ball up. Zach Bailey with 4 goals for Brisbane. Bailey Banfield with 4 for the Dockers as Fremantle working inside their attacking 50. There is Bailey Banfield. Tapped it down. Met there by Tucker. Had to go back by hand to Brayshaw to Sarong. And hand passed it backwards to Akers. Look away, hand pass to Walker. Stabs it inside forward 50. That was well read by Adams. Sliding out in front of Logue. He takes the mark and he'll have the ball in the right back pocket. He'll trot back to assess what's in front of him. Come down the line. Oh, almost turns it over. Through the fingertips of Brayshaw. Behind him, Young's hand pass knocked to ground by Hipwood. Robertson has it. Well, Brayshaw might have put his knees into Robertson there. Umpire says no, it's been held in. It'll be a ball up instead. So Brisbane, they need to do something quickly. They trail by 18 points, 16 gone in the last.
Slapped away by Fort, back over the boundary line and will go again. Fremantle looking for their 9th win of the season. As I said, it'll move them equal on wins with Brisbane. Darcy knocks it forward out of the ruck. Onto it though, Zorko across half-back for Brisbane. Sweeps a handball to Neal. Kicks towards the middle of the ground. Just over the head of Ryan for the Dockers. Hipwood, nice pick-up. Handball to Bailey. Kicks long towards full forward. McCarthy and Hughes. It's going to come back. There was a throw. Ooh. Hipwood called for the throw. Looks a little bemused by the decision. Can't do much more than look bemused these days with the dissent rules. What did you think?
I think his hands were a bit too quick for the umpire there when you look at the TV.
Yeah. It's just a slap. Fremantle by 18 points.
So Ryan, cross half back, finds Hughes. That is a good kick. Out towards Aish. Short sleeve jumper on for a change, despite the cool conditions, and moves it down the line to right half forward where Young marks.
His long sleeve up, ripped.
Yep.
In the wrestle, and only one, obviously.
Yeah. Kick inside forward 50, big pack up off the hands of Fort, spilled out the back, chasing it Berry, got a hand pass away as he fell over. Adams tackled by Frederick, got a hand pass out himself. Ainsworth there, set upon by 3 Dockers. Umpire spotted a free kick. It would be the way of the Lions. Well, it's the other WA club that has all the jumper problems. 13-6-84 Fremantle, 10-6-66 Brisbane, 18 gone in the last.
Rich peels off a beautiful kick out towards half-back where he finds Pryor, who gives it on to Coleman. Kicks for Bailey at half-forward. Ryan comes off him and takes the mark. Now he kicks Fremantle forward of the wing. Aish can take it. Looks inside 50, a leading lob. Not quite. Collier Rose deep in the pocket. Pulls it back towards Logue. Logue goes up. Getting back Adams. Swats it away. Clatters into the post. Behind, Fremantle out by 19. 18 minutes into the fourth.
The old handy points. Beyond offensive 50. And over for a boundary throw-in. So McCluggage has it. Takes a couple of steps forward, goes on a bit of a run, and moves it short to Berry. Berry, by hand, working it forward to McCluggage again. Just pops it up into the air. It's an awkward kick. Met by Darcy. Gathers for the Dockers. Goes back to Conks. Hands it off to Sarong, who's at left half back. Great vision. He spotted Banfield in the middle of the ground. The kick was perfect. It was 70 metres. And it was right to Banfield like a rocket. Banfield will switch play. Out towards Walker, just shy of the Logo's southern wing.
Oh, Walker's kick is shocker. He's turned it over in the middle. Hipwood, a nice pickup. Handball back to Neil. Sidesteps one man. Now sidesteps a second. Kicks towards the Logo on the mark. Taken there by the Big O. So McInerney will chip back into the middle of the ground. Zorko stabs a kick forward for Pryor. Dad, of course, formerly an assistant at Fremantle, would know a lot of these players. Kicks into the pocket. Getting back, Ryan. Intercept mark in the right back pocket for Fremantle. 19 points their lead. The Lions need something and they need it soon.
Ryan kicks long. The land just shy of the southern wing. 2-on-1 in favour of Brisbane. Pryor went up, couldn't mark. Spilled down over to Andrews. Surely incorrect disposal. Got tackled and just dropped it. Aish will have the free kick. He's shy, or just forward rather, of right half back. 85 plays 66, 13-7 to 10-6. Dockers in front. As the kicks towards right half forward and off hands and over for a boundary throw-in as we go past time on in this the final term. 47,214, the official crowd.
McInerney and Darcy. Darcy wins the tap, but stolen momentarily there by McCluggage. Then Brody steals it from him. Handball to Frederick. Handball to Hughes. Run down. Lyons got him. That's Jared Lyons holding the ball. And he'll have it inside the defensive 50 for Brisbane. Goes short to Rich. Now Rich will kick into the middle of the ground. A good kick for a leading McStay. McStay will look to peel it off towards Hipwood, who tries to slap it on instead of marking it. Not sure about that. And Aish is onto the footy for the Dockers as they move it to the wing.
So Aish towards Frederick. He marks it right half forward. 3 goals for him today. Tupou out to score now, but he'll put it in the direction of Lob. Brings it to ground. Spilled out to Banfield. Tackled by Rich. Over the boundary line at right full forward for Freo.
Very strange decision by Hipwood. He was on his own. Forward streaming back towards goal. Could have swung and put them in a very dangerous position.
Ball spun back into play. Darcy got 2 hands to it. Tackled immediately. Can't get rid of it. They'll spill out eventually. Socked forward by the Dockers. Banfield is the player there. We'll have ourselves another throw in at right full forward.
19 points. Fremantle's lead. Darcy moves to the front, slaps it back to the boundary, and we'll get another throw in. Umpire brings it back in. Darcy hooks it down towards Sarong. He's tackled quickly. And we'll go again with another ball up. No, we won't. Free kick. Going to go to Zorko, who knows the Lions need to go. Kick short to Berry. Has a man on the broadcast wing. Sends it there now. It's Archie. Good kick to Archie. They stream forward. Gives it off to running by Starcevic. He kicks towards Charlie Cameron over his head. It tumbles out. And a throw in, 45 around from the attacking goal for the Brisbane Lions.
Archie just needed to roll corridor. Then he had Marcus Adams coming up the middle, and we would have ended up getting a deep hot spot kick instead of out towards the pocket.
19 points, Fremantle's advantage, 23 gone in the fourth.
Back into play, McInerney won it down. Brody couldn't take it. McInerney got it forward again, but intercepted by Lobb, threw it on the boot. It'll bounce just inside the boundary line. It'll be deliberate. Starcevic to take the free kick for Brisbane. Spears it towards the chest of Rich. Moves it short again to Zorko. Still at right half forward. Hand pass goes inboard to Rich. He'll kick towards full forward. Big pack up. Spills down at the back. McStay. McStay snaps. McStay misses. To the left-hand side, a minor score. 10-7-67 Brisbane. 13-7-85 the Dockers. 23 and a bit gone. No, 24 minutes gone in the last.
So Luke Ryan to take the kick in. Brisbane need 3 goals and they need them quick. Ryan to kick towards the wing. Harris Andrews puts his fist through it. Coming up, Dev Robertson tackled quickly by Brennan Cox. He wants the line. Dives over like he's scoring a try. And we'll get a throw in. Mexican wave going around Perth Stadium. Umpire brings it back in. McInerney wins the tap, but only as far as Brennan Cox for Freo. Handball to Sarong. Through the middle go the purple. Sarong sends it out towards the wing. Collier, Pryor there. Pryor gathers. He's tackled by Collier. Slung to ground. Ball comes out, holding the ball. So Collier to get the free kick. He sends it to the pocket looking for Lobb. Lobb's up at a mark. 50 metres out. Right on the paint of 50. Has to adjust his shoe. Actually, did have it come off at the back, Rory Lobb. As much as this is probably helping kill some time for the Dockers, it looked legitimate. Rory Lobb is going to take his 30 and kill a little bit of the clock. Lobb from 51, a good looking kick. Is it cherry on top? Rory's lobbed it from 50. He's got 3 and Fremantle have the 4 points as they fight off another flag fancy. 24 points their advantage. 14-7-91 plays 10-7-67. 26 minutes into the fourth.
Huge effort from Collier out there in the tackle on Pryor. That's the kind of stuff that gets shown on a Monday, isn't it?
It certainly does. They've hunted the Brisbane Lions tremendously today.
Beautiful finish, yeah, from probably just 52 metres out.
I mean, that's what you want to see from Lobb. High-paid forward, big games, out on the arc, and just to put the long ones in.
He hasn't had a huge number of disposals, but he's now kicked 3 goals. But you'd love to see him kick 2 or 3 in the first half and really set the tone.
Bounce of the footy. 1 down by McInerney. Out after it, Rayner. Hand pass over his shoulder. Back to McInerney. Gathers on the bounce in the middle of the ground, but his hand pass intercepted by Brayshaw. To Mundy of the Dockers. They're away again, Freo. To Frederick. To Brody. Hand pass on to Collier. He'll kick towards full forward. It might go all the way himself. Schultz decides he will mark it in front of the right-hand goalposts. What will the officials say? It's through for a minor score. Obviously just juggled it as he crossed the line. 14-8-92, 10-7-67. Dockers lead the Lions. 28 gone in the last.
Rich goes up the middle towards the middle of Perth Stadium. Hughes comes through for Freo. Gathers it. He's tackled to ground. Holding the ball. So a free kick will go to the Lions. McCarthy gives it off to Zorko, who thumps it inside 50 towards Cameron. Walker right there with him, holding him. It was right there with him a little too much.
I think where Brisbane have got it wrong there a bit today, that long kick inside 50 should be going to McStay, and then Cameron should be getting to the ground balls, but so many times today it's gone to Cameron.
So Cameron's already got a couple. 25 points, Fremantle's lead. Cameron comes in and kicks the major. The faintest of heartbeats. He's got 3. 11-7-73 move Brisbane. Fremantle 14-8-92. 3.5 minutes left. They're down by 3 goals, 1 Brisbane, 19 points.
He can hold his head high, young Walker, and I reckon that it's going to be good for all Freo fans knowing that you've got a player in the back 6 that can play on a really dangerous small forward. It's a real plus for Freo, and I reckon he's grown a bit today, Walker, and I don't think Justin Longwood would be too concerned about playing him on like a Cozzy Pickett or just those really good small forwards that are slippery.
Terrific contest in the West. Great way to wrap up the week. McInerney wins it down, but it's straight to Sarong. Hands it off to Frederick. He'll run towards right half forward. Pops a hand pass to Collier. Brodie runs by. Brodie snaps from about 45 out. It's across the face and missing to the left-hand side. 14-9-93. 11-7-73. 29 gone in the last.
Rich kicks up the middle. McCluggage is over to mark. He moves it short to Neil. Neil chips it on slightly further for the Lions, and McStay. Now he looks inside 50. Kicks in the direction of Archie. Can't complete the mark. Cameron onto the footy. Tries to spin out of trouble. Handball to Pryor. Handball to McCarthy. Handball back to Hipwood. He's tackled quickly. Handball away to Bailey. Back to Archie. 45 out. Fires on goal. Another. Oh, they're live, the Lions. Back to 14 points. 2.5 to play. 14-9-93 plays 12-7-79. Half-hour mark of the fourth.
Surely not, Sharad.
Oh, I don't know. Anything can happen.
Where does it sit in terms of your old coach's theory?
Well, what do we got?
2.5 minutes. They need 3 goals.
They need 2.5 goals.
We're cooked.
2.5 goals, yeah.
There you go.
They're live.
Calamarchi coming on as the sub. A rib injury to Gardner.
So they've clamped up a bit here, Fremantle. They've sent their 2 wings to the back half of the...
And they've put Loeb up on the wing as well, so
he'll just peel back.
The moment the bounce takes place, he does too. Darcy wanted down, but Rayner going through. Almost had first use, but couldn't control it. Sarong was there to Mundy. Important disposal. It comes to Frederick. Great kick onto the chest of Loeb. He marks right forward pocket. He marks 40 from goal. Griffin Loeb. 1 to him tonight. He's first of the season as well. And just 2 in a career, which, to be fair, has been spent mainly down back. He's been pushed forward in recent weeks. It worked out with a win over Melbourne to seal the deal. Loeb kicks his second. Fremantle are going to take the 4 points. They've got their 15. 15-9-99. Brisbane 12-7-79. 32 and a bit gone. How important the ability to win that football in the middle. It looked like the Lions might have been able to take it away.
Yeah, exactly right there. That's critical that they win that centre clearance and get it forward, because if Brisbane managed to get that inside their forward 50, anything is possible, like I said. Yep. So huge from the 4 in there at that centre clearance, and a beautiful kick from Frederick.
Oh, the flag mantle signs back out.
Oh, no.
I love the maturity of the setup as well, that they went into it really quickly. They know what they're doing. They're well drilled.
Fremantle by 20 points. What a fortnight for Freo.
Just tactics-wise here with Lobb dropping from the wing, I'd be putting Daniel Rich up here, so you're going to drop off him, and Richie's around that 60-metre area. You don't want to be giving him a kick at goal.
The ball there, yeah.
Crooked bounce back in the middle. No one wins a decisive tap. Neil comes away with it, snaps the lines to half forward. Clark comes out to meet it, fists it back towards the wing. Coleman attacks it at ground level, gives it off there to McInerney, who whacks it inside 50 for the Lions, tumbles to the boundary line. And we'll get a throw in. Right half forward for Brisbane. .49 metres around from the attacking goal. One down by Darcy. Handball from Sarong. Handball to Collier. Collier will just clear it towards the wing, and the mark taken there by Rich for the Lions. He gives it off to Zorko, who chips inside 50, and McStay. He's able to mark. He gives it off to Rich. Rich crosses the 50, pulls the trigger on goal, and misses the lot. Out of bounds on the full. Now the Dockers to get it back in the right back pocket.
Lobb is back there to take the free kick. Kicks towards right half back. Adams, good mark. Coming from the side. Sends it back from whence it came. Towards full forward. That's a good mark. And they'll claim it. It's not going to be paid here, which I thought was interesting. No, they are paying it eventually, surely. I wondered for a second what's going to happen, and eventually it is going to come back to McStay, who can have a shot from right in front. So McStay, from 40 metres out, gives the Lions another. 15-9-99 to 13-7-85. We've gone nearly 35 minutes in the final term on Grandstand AFL. Yeah, that's a mark. No doubt at all. Not sure it will make much of a difference.
Yeah, look, it's all over now, I reckon, with about under 30 seconds to go. But well done to the Lions for just not had the potential to get blown out there probably about 5 or 6 minutes ago.
14 points. Freo's lead. Bounce back in the middle. McInerney slaps it down. Sarong steals it. 1-2 with Brayshaw. Kicks inside 50 towards Logue. Andrews beats him to the footy. Picking it up, Coleman gives it off to Rich. Rich will chip it short and finds Lyons, who gives it off to Coleman. Handball to Zorko. Handball to Neil. Neil gets through them. Freo frank their legitimacy. They fight off another flag fancy. What a fortnight. They beat the Lions by 14 points, 15-9-99 to 13-7-85.
We are the Freo Dockers, Freo, way to go. Get a real hot, send them down below. Oh, Freo, give them the only home. We are the Freo Dockers, we're the rollers, we're the rockers. We're the mighty Freo Dockers. We're gonna roll them and we'll rock them. We're gonna send them to the bottom. And if they get up, we'll do it again. The Dockers stop and nothing. Freo, way to go. Hit them real hard, send them down below. Oh, Freo, give them the old deep home. We are the Freo Dockers. Freo, way to go. Hit them real hard, send them down below. Oh, Freo, give them the old deep home. We are the Freo Dockers.
Freo by 14. They trailed by 13 at quarter time, by 1 at the half, led by 17 in the third, and went on to win by 14 points. 4 goals to Bailey Banfield, a career best. 3 to Michael Frederick, 3 to Rory Lobb, 2 to Griffin Logue, and singles to Sarong, to Aish and to Meek. While for Brisbane, 4 to Zach Bailey, 3 to Charlie Cameron, 2 to Daniel McStay, and singles to Archie, to McCarthy, to Coleman and to Hipwood. Fremantle, they have seen off another one of the contenders for the 2022 AFL Premiership. As Ben said, beating Melbourne, the reigning premiers, unbeaten in 2022. They went to the MCG and had a 38-point win last week, and they have backed that up again by beating the number 2 team on the ladder, the highly impressive Brisbane Lions. Their premiership credentials now cannot be ignored. 15-9-99 to 13-7-85. Great game of footy. Lots going on all over the ground. There would be one injury concern, of course, Gardner needing to be subbed out for Brisbane with what the Lions say is a rib problem. But Fremantle, they mightn't have been able to leap ahead of them on percentage on the ladder. The ladder remains Melbourne in top spot with 40 points. Brisbane second, 36 and 134 percentage flats. Fremantle in third, 129.9 their percentage with 36 points as well. Their 9th win of the season, the Fremantle Dockers. What did you make of it all? There was a lot to like about this contest here in the West. To wrap up the first of the bye rounds, round 12 in the AFL. Bo McDonald, Sharad Wellingham with you on Grandstand AFL.
I reckon that was one of the best games I've seen them play, and the emotion that was in that game, it was like they really set themselves to make sure that they brought more intensity around the footy. Admittedly, the start was really a lot of feeling each other out and seeing how they were going to react, and not too much gameplay in terms of trying too many dangerous things across the field, across the board. No one was really taking many risks. But then as the game progressed on, I'm not sure if it was fatigue or just a little bit more of, I suppose, a change in direction. I'll be interested to see what they have to say post-game. If there was a bit of a change in direction and willingness to take the game on with use of hands, which is what I think Brisbane really had their undoing, and they just didn't have any answers for it as soon as they started moving it by hands.
Yeah, look, I agree with you. When Fremantle won it in tight in the contest, they were gone. They were spreading out, and Brisbane weren't quick enough to react and chase them out of there. Brisbane scored probably more off the turnover today, but at the contest, that's where a Fremantle got them. Look, I think if you're a Fremantle fan, there's some terrific signs there. It's their pressure was there today, and that's what you need every week if you're gonna trouble them in September. And they've done it a couple of weeks in a row now against 2 teams above them. And I suppose now they can go into their bye and really look back at what's worked for them in the first half of the year, and you get a really clear picture of what that is, and they were able to produce it today.
Lots of young, exciting players just coming in and performing week in, week out as well, which is incredible. Frederick for mine was just awesome today.
Yeah,
tonight.
Frederick was brilliant. His work rate and his pace, and then also down back, I thought what's his name? I've just lost his name. Young Walker.
Oh yeah,
Charlie
Cameron. Yeah,
he was fantastic. I think I spoke about. You'd have the confidence now to play him on that dangerous small down there. Brayshaw on ball had another massive game. I thought James Aish in the first half was very good as well. So lots of great signs there for the Fremantle Dockers.
Even contribution is what I really like from the Dockers at the moment as well. They're not having to... I mean, it regularly is the same guys performing well, but the guys, playing their role week in, week out is what's really impressing me.
I think Griffin Logue's one of those. Perfect example of it. He was good again today, being able to take Adams up the ground, and the Brisbane defenders, they like to be near each other and play off and come third up, and just by Logue getting up the ground and taking Adams and spreading him apart, it really opened up the forward line.
And to be honest, it wasn't Sean Darcy's standout game that we've seen him play so far this year, and for them to... I mean, he still had his 26 hit-outs, but I think Lloyd Meek just really picked up the slack. Darcy was obviously a little bit quieter than we've seen over the last month or so, but that combo at the moment is just working wonders.
We've seen the Dockers come out the front of that stoppage a couple of times, didn't they? Just straight out the front door. That's hard to defend.
You'd say Lobb and Darcy probably played their best games last week against Melbourne, and for neither of them to have as big a standout games again. I mean, Lobb walks away with his 3 goals, but like I mentioned, one of them was, in the last couple of minutes. But it just goes to show how much of an influence Meek can have on a game and just free up Darcy a little bit.
Yep. So they had 7 individual goal scorers, the Dockers, which is, if you're getting up close to double figures goal scorers, everyone's having a go. And I think you mentioned during the call, Shad, just the even contribution. That wasn't the same on the Brisbane side today. I thought the backs really struggled, and what I mean by that is in the contest, when the ball was in the air and there to be spoiled and to clear the area, that didn't happen, and it just fell and just kept the Fremantle players in it, and they were able to get shots on goal from it, and it was really I thought maybe the scoreline might have been even bigger for Freo. It should have been even bigger.
We'll get more from Sharad. We get more from you and from Bo in just a moment. I hate missing the club song. Let's head downstairs into the rooms. Akash Fodadar's there as the Dockers make their way in. Akash.
Yeah, they're just coming in now. You can hear a bit of clapping and whooping. Alex Pearce leading the guys down. Plenty of high fives and back slaps for Bailey Banfield as well. Of course, fantastic day for him up forward. They're just starting to circle up now, but a lot of congratulatory back slaps and high fives here. As you expect, they're all pretty happy with the effort. Here we go.
Please continue on. Sharad? What?
That was a good rendition, I thought.
Yeah, there was a bit in that, wasn't it? You can tell what it means by the way the reaction is after the game. That meant a lot. And they've done what Fremantle, we've said this earlier this year, but Fremantle has notoriously in their history had a great win and then let one slip.
Yeah.
And so this was a genuine case of to go across there, and they were, well, it got pointed out by their own coach a couple of weeks ago. You know, don't get ahead of yourselves. They went across, they've beaten the reigning premier, a side unbeaten this season, come back. That's a huge challenge. Brisbane are an awesome team. I know they've had some travel, which would, I mean, for those on this side of the country, know what sort of travel toll it has on football clubs. But they've still had to get over the line for and they've done that. That's a big win.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head a couple of weeks ago. It started with Justin Longmuir, and I don't reckon he was just saying that to his players. I reckon he was saying it to the whole club, the people that work there, the people that support it, everyone that's got something to do with Fremantle. By coming out and making that statement, it's the best thing that he could do, because since then it's turned around. And they, so I think that was really smart by Justin Longmuir, and they getting out there on the front foot. And he's so spot on. As soon as you start to get a little bit ahead of yourself, the footy it just seems to clip you. So look. Great signs for the Fremantle Dockers. It's good for footy over here in the West with the other mob not going so well at the moment. So, they'll be very happy going into the bye. It'll give you a lot of confidence building another top 14.
It's the French Open final tonight. That's holding serve. So they went over and broke serve with the win against Melbourne, and then what they sometimes haven't done in their history is hold serve the next week. They have here.
The question I was going to ask before we listened to the song was, how bad is Andrews at the moment? His injury, he looks really underdone.
To be honest, if you watch Brisbane closely, he's been like that for the last 2 years, and always just in mate circles and talking. The question is he injured? What's going on? Because he just looks slower. He looks laconic.
Yep. And I imagine your mate circles are sort of ex-Brisbane Lions premiership players.
Well, yeah, look, I haven't got a definitive answer for you to say, but just watching how he moves, he doesn't look like
he's not as dynamic as he used to be.
No.
He used to come through packs and take amazing marks.
And just the one thing that made me think he was hurt, and maybe it's, like a lack of confidence and that he's out of form, was just he chased someone back here, looked like he could not move, looked like an old man, looked like he was waddling, and then fell over, and it took him a good 30 seconds to get up. Yeah.
In the middle of the forward 50?
Yeah.
Or defensive 50? Yeah, I remember seeing that as well. And also, when he had a kick from the back pocket and obviously had to run forward to the ball, it took him a long time to get that speed up, and then he almost couldn't slow down when he got to the other end.
Is that OP? Is that... It's... Yeah.
Yeah, it's not really sure, but he's definitely not moving like he used to.
No.
That's for sure.
And sorry, I didn't mean how bad. I meant how bad could his injury be. I didn't say. I didn't mean how bad is he playing.
And we're assuming that he's injured. He might just be playing poorly, like Bo said. I mean, this is a continued. Both thought he was playing poorly last year. He didn't look right to me. I thought today looked like a man who was. The way I think about it is, we often think, oh, why has that player had a poor year? And then afterwards, oh, he was battling OP, or he had a back injury. Like Paddy Cripps is the classic example. He's labouring around last year, and then we find out he's playing with a fracture in his back, and he's in licorice all sorts. And then now he's back fully fit, and he looks like the player we always knew he is and was.
Yeah. Do they not have the ability to let him rest and recover, or is it
Yeah, look, I think who's the next tall to... obviously, Darcy Gardner's was subbed out this game, and I think we saw that last year with Brisbane in the final. As soon as they lose one of those talls down back, it can make a really big difference if there isn't someone to sort of step in. I think, look, Adams is playing some good footy, but yeah, they really need to look for that sort of third tall player. It's been good throwing Zorko back there for bits and pieces, but yeah, it just didn't really click for the Lions today. But then, I mean, you could also look at it. The score's 85-99. You've travelled across the country. You haven't played your guest game, and you haven't really been smacked either. So, you know, there'll be some positives to take out of Brisbane. But I suspect it's every time I remember looking up today and seeing Brisbane going into their forward line, it was almost a bit like, a lot of the time, it was a bit like Pagan's paddock. Everyone's running back towards the goal and no one coming at the kicker. And it just kind of made it, you know, that's good in sometimes, but you just can't be so predictable all the time. And sometimes they just needed someone to come back at the kicker for that really easy hit-up kick, and it sort of didn't happen. And I mentioned it during the game as well. There was too many times the target kick going inside 50 was to one of the Brisbane smalls instead of their tall. Let the smalls go to the ground, get to the back of the packs, do all the work around there, and let your big fellas go and create the contest. And that probably didn't happen enough today.
Fremantle have beaten Brisbane in the final game of round 12 at Perth Stadium, 15-9-99 to Brisbane 13-7-85. Cheeky text coming through. It's a valid point, though. 0437 774 774. If you'd like to get involved with us, we'll be with you around most of the nation for another 15 minutes and then continue on to various parts up until 7 o'clock here in the West. We'll take the press conferences when we can get them, and a cash fodder downstairs in the Fremantle rooms. I was not surprised to see this come through on 0437 774 774. The only way is up, says Doris, until a wet grand final. It is the one question that still remains with Fremantle having the two losses in the wet. They were very different losses, to be fair, but it is still the question that is over them. I'm certain we'll see some wet weather football between now and the end.
I think so. They've shown the ability this year, Fremantle, to learn from their mistakes and adapt. So I reckon that'll just be another one they'll adapt. The good sides play good in the wet. I don't think that they're softer. I don't think that they... the Collingwood game was a little bit different. I think Collingwood's structure, I was lucky enough to sit in the box for the Collingwood game, and they got the wet weather structure and the footy part right of it. And Fremantle just didn't adjust. I reckon they'll learn from it, and I don't see playing in the wet being a problem for them.
I did notice your old mate Craig McRae invited you into the box and, you know, just wasn't enjoying your company, decided to coach from the boundary that day. Bo.
Yeah, he did, mate. He didn't want to hear from us up there, but yeah, I was lucky enough to sit up the back of the box and see how they go about it. And,
how was it?
Oh, it's a great experience. A bit different from back in my day.
Yep.
There's about 15 of them up there now.
It's like a air traffic control tower, but so look, just very interesting. It's just a bit of professional development for me, just to sit back and haven't sat in an AFL box for a while, so just to see what goes on. And I was lucky enough to do like the team meetings and all that sort of stuff with them. So probably won't go into too much more because I was lucky enough to be let in there. And, but it was a fantastic experience.
Fly on the wall experience, dare I say, with Craig McRae.
Very good.
Yeah,
you've been in good form tonight, Ben. Had a couple of great
Appreciate it.
dads.
Appreciate it.
Exactly. Thank you, Sharon. I was looking for that, but you left in. Still one of the great appreciate it lines.
I meant it genuinely. If it sounded disingenuous, I did mean it. I apologise.
No, that's fine. It's fine. It'll take a week to get over it.
I did appreciate you supporting me with Mark, who was incorrect in his criticism.
That was very funny, though. Talk us through the stoppages and particularly that third quarter. I'm really keen to get your thoughts. That is you talk about Brisbane haven't been smacked. They haven't on the score, but they fought back massively. But that stat that I read out before, 36 points scored by Fremantle in the third quarter, the most ever from them in a quarter by Fremantle. What was the reason for it? How were they able to dominate and just dominate to the point they did? Because that is when the game turned, just like it did the previous week.
I think it started in the clearances, like we spoke about. They were able to get their hands on the ball first and use it in the spread. If Brisbane got their hands on the ball first, they were able to keep them in the tent, and it was a quick kick forward. But Freo really got to work once they won that ball, that contested ball method. Bang, they were gone. And I think it was like 14-9 for clearances for them. But like we spoke about, some of those clearances they're out the front door.
Correct.
They might as well be worth 2.
It was the way they exited it and the way that they set up at them, which I think they probably changed a little bit. They weren't getting any more dynamic or moving any faster through the stoppages. It was just when they did they had almost like a post up a number of times where it'd be someone just forward of the stoppage and they get used, and then the play would be able to be, I suppose, moved across from that stoppage to forward of the play. And that was what I really think opened it up. And especially when they would then switch to the open side, there'd be a stoppage, and you'd see Travis Collier and Frederick, gone 50 metres off the line of the ball. A lot of the time you see teams will structure up in a nice, straight up line towards the goals either side of the ball. They were already 50 metres off the line of the stoppage and were breaking out to that space, which just enabled them to go into the forward 50 at a different angle.
It seems to me like they're really well coached in terms of stoppages. I mean, Justin Longmuir gave some praise to Josh Carr during the week and what he was able to change at halftime that led to the third quarter dominance in the game against Melbourne. But again today, it seemed as if they were able to just see what the game was giving them at halftime, draw it up on